Okay. Shalom, everybody. I hope everybody's doing Tawab. Like I said, these days have been flying lately. I mean, we look at it was Friday, now it's on Monday again. Hope everybody's doing Tawab. To the schools out in Houston, Shalom, isbhpk Houston, isbhpk Norfolk, isbhpk Rochester, Shalom, Cabo Cobb, LA, Judah. Hope everybody's doing out there in California and Atlanta and all the different cities abroad that have committed themselves to learn these scriptures and serving the Most High. Greetings and salutations to all of you. Shalom, brother online, how you doing? I ain't forgot about you. It's been kind of busy, but I'll get back to you as soon as possible, probably tomorrow. Last Friday, we had class about defeating self-loathing and hopelessness, and we didn't get very far, but I think it was important that we took our time to layer this class and explain things as clearly as possible. Last Friday was dealing with more negative hopes, negative outlooks that the Most High doesn't honor, negative mentalities and ways and isms that we have that we think is good enough.
And when we say negative hope, we mean putting false confidence in something. Because there's true confidence and there's false confidence. I put my confidence in this, I put my confidence in that. But the Most High is not with those so-called dreams, those so-called beliefs, those so-called directions or schemes or plans that a person has in their mind. Well, you know what?
If they're not aligned specifically with what pleases the Most High and at the frequency and level of commitment that's acceptable to Him.
Because exactly, I plan on being here in my life at this time, or you want to be in this position in your spiritual life without putting the actual correct right acts. And you want this without the right works.
And because we don't do that, is where the sadness and the hopelessness and the why am I even doing this and what is the value of serving the Most High and committing all these hours and time into doing this work if I'm not seeing the results that I'm looking for.
So those false hopes are like a person that says, I want to lose this weight, but I'm not going to work out. I'm not going to juice.
Yes.
I'm not going to sit here or ask somebody that has more discipline, what should I do? I'm just going to sit here and buy these pills that I saw on the internet.
Yeah.
They make money off of false hope. False hope is a money. It's an industry. Hey, look, man, all you gotta do is just do this ABC. Boom, boom, boom.
Your heart might fluctuate pretty fast, but you will lose weight.
Exactly.
Your heart is going to be on fire.
Or guys that lift weights and they want to sit here and they inject themselves with growth hormones and
HGH
and HGH and steroids. They look great for a certain period of time, but they didn't go through the proper process and it wasn't natural.
Yep.
So the end result, Ronnie Coleman is going through a lot right now. A lot of these guys, they look great for a certain period of time, then their body breaks down and they die a young death.
Yep.
Because they put a false hope or false direction.
So where we're at now is explaining the same thing in a spiritual arena.
Yeah.
And I think we forget we're Israelites.
Yeah.
You know, we teach nationality.
Yeah.
We teach self-identity, but I don't think as a nation we rely on discipline and a lot of the foundations of being spiritual people enough. I think as Israelites we rely so much on bravado, fringes, talking loud, talking about Esau, about how he's you know what that the Bible speaks of. I think we're so caught up in bravado that we don't deal into the details of what it takes to obtain salvation. A good example of this kind of goes off of script, so to speak, but if y'all can help me out, I think it's in Wisdom of Solomon, and the scripture deals with how we shouldn't be talking about how the wicked are going to be destroyed or fall. We should be talking about how the righteous shall be. There it is. It is in Ezra. It is in Ezra. Where it is, it's Ezra 9, I think. I think it's in Ezra, 2nd Ezra 9, and
9:13.
Yep, that's where it is. 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, and verse 13. Because this is where we're dealing with as a camp, and I just don't think this is taught enough. I don't think in Israel's corners and when we deal with our people, we don't deal with this enough. So give me 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 13.
Second Exodus, chapter 9, verse 13. And therefore, be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished.
Yes, we're so focused on how the ungodly is going to be punished. We're so focused on identifying the ungodly. We pound it, which is fine. We're supposed to identify the ungodly.
We're supposed to be watchmen.
We're supposed to be watchmen. We're supposed to identify the ungodly. But once the ungodly is identified, then what do? Read on.
It says, and when.
And when, what are the signs that are coming from in around the news, geopolitically? What are the signs that let us know when the end is near, when the ungodly's reign on earth is near? We're supposed to focus on those things. Read on.
But inquire how the righteous shall be saved.
I don't think a lot of times Israelite teachers do that enough. I don't think Israelite teachers focus on how the righteous shall be saved. We're focused more on how the wicked are going to fall.
Which is what you saw, the method of our salvation.
The method of how Israel teaches. And we're going to get back to our point, but the reason we're going into these topics like this, and we're dealing with hopelessness, and we're dealing with all these psychoanalytic angles, is because how else in the hell can you get Israel to kind of fight themselves to earn salvation? How else are we going to sit back here and work on the real issues that keep us back from pleasing the Heavenly Father, unless we go into topics that deal with why men lose motivation, why people stop trying to fight? Because the thing is this, Israel sits back here, they get the knowledge, they start trying methods to obtain salvation. It's wrong. The Most High denies them. Then they have a spirit of quitting. And they sit back here and go through the motions after a while. They stop caring. They stop taking the process of growth serious.
Are you saying we should be focusing on the reason that we collapsed as a nation in the first place?
In the
because
first place, you can look at the reason the nation fell,
yeah,
and then you can also look at why you fall, why you continuously fall, why we keep falling through the same cycles of mistakes, yeah, weakness, inconsistency. So we can start.
You put the dope around me, you put the weed around me, you put the guns around me. That's true.
Yes.
But you can't make me smoke this crack. You can't make me smoke this weed.
We always want to talk about how the white man did this and did that, and he's bringing drugs in the community.
You can't force me. You can, because that's what Esau did. What Esau did in general, he did us like the opium war, like he did more with the opium wars. What did he do? He just interjected that in his community. Mm-hmm. With our people, he broke down the housing. Such one always breaks it down. He broke down the job market for so-called black men. Mm-hmm. And what happened? They lost confidence. They lost the ability to provide for their homes. And they end up falling.
So now they find different coping mechanisms.
There you go.
Whether the coping mechanisms is drug abuse,
yeah,
whether it's womanizing, exactly, whether it's alcoholism,
pimping.
God, that was really bad in the 70s. Actually.
Yeah, but these were coping mechanisms
60s, 70s,
to overcome slavery.
Or to overcome
the poverty system.
Poverty, heartache,
exactly,
loss, failure.
Yeah.
So once again, if we're going to sit back and truly rehabilitate our people and teach people salvation, we have to sit back and deal with the specific scenarios that lead to why we keep falling into these same traps consistently. Yeah. So this is why we're going over topics like this, because we're supposed to be teaching the godly how to obtain salvation. Read verse 13 again, and I'll let you pull yours. Read that.
Second Exodus chapter 9, verse 13. It says, and therefore, be not thou curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when.
Okay, because once again, everybody, when they get bored on news cycles, when they don't have material to teach, or they're not studying, what do? I'm going to talk about Esau all damn day long. Esau. That's because people don't have nothing else to teach. Because they're not concerned enough about how to sit back and truly rehabilitate Israel. If it's about rehabilitating Israel, let's dig in these scriptures and figure out how we can help rehabilitate Israel. Read on.
But inquire how the righteous shall be saved.
How is the righteous going to get saved? Let's teach Israel to get confidence in serving the Most High the right way. Let's get Israel to stop stooping down and being this broken spirited man, and teach our people how to have confidence in living a righteous life, how to have confidence in studying and learning, and work ethic and discipline. It's one thing to tell people you're not disciplined. It's another to teach a person how to gain confidence in discipline, humility, work ethic, studying. For those of y'all who run camps and deal with brothers in camps, You'll know how hard it is to get men to study. It's like pulling teeth. You got to wrestle with men to sit back and read Bible verses. But you know what? Without that, you can't teach rehabilitation. We can't sit back and help men grow because we can't get past the building blocks and elements necessary to start seeing the good in what you do every day.
Basic fundamentals.
And that's the point. So this is what we should be teaching and training our young men and young women. Because their answer is television, sadness, depression. Forget about it. Stop thinking about it. Just smile and go to another party. That's what our women have been taught. That's what our men are taught. Now this might sit back here, these kind of classes might give you headaches, hard to concentrate, hard to kind of keep your mind to lock in for longer periods of time. You gotta ask yourself, why is it so hard for you to focus on classes like this? Why do you fade out after 30 minutes? Is it the material or is it you?
It's the muscle of the mind.
That's just weak as hell.
Yeah.
Some puny 20 pounds are too much in the brain. This is why, brothers, you sit back here and you try to say you have an hour to study. What's going to happen after 30 minutes? 30 minutes of like, he's down for the count, Jim. He's already bobbing. He's already bobbing 20 minutes in, huh? What the hell's wrong with us, huh?
Listen, you gotta study.
That's what be happening. You know I'm telling the truth. Or you think you're doing something, you're reading the same verse over 5 times. Has that happened? I don't understand what I'm reading. I don't know why I'm still in the same verse. There is a mental glitch going on. Some glitch, a lot of glitching going on. Huh?
How broken is
the same damn paragraph for an hour.
Like, what the hell's going on here, right? This is what we are trying to break through. A nation of people that look at school and reading and understanding it, that's for fools, man.
It's mentally quitting.
That's the point. And we have to teach a nation that's not predestined. Their predisposition is not to study and read and challenge their thinking and attack their emotions. Anyway, I don't want to make it too much. I just want to make sure people online understand why we drive these points. You know, here's another class about hopelessness. Here we go again. What's the word I got to say today? But you know what? If we don't, we can sit back here and talk about Esau, the fall of Esau's kingdom. Esau, you going down.
But we fell off.
Part 35. Like, damn, bro. How many times you talk about Esau? Esau. Can we sit back here and deal with some topics, some pertinent topics that Israel deals with all the time?
Come.
We went into studying when we had our kingdom. That's partial. We fell apart. Anyway, read verse 13 again, and we'll go to down last verse.
2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 13. And therefore be thou, not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when.
Listen, we need to stop focusing on the ungodly and when they're going to fall. Yeah, we're supposed to be conscious of it. We're supposed to teach people. We're supposed to let people know the signs of the times so we can prepare ourselves for it. No doubt. But after that, let's get to brass tacks and get to why I can't control my lust. We want the kingdom to come. Do you really want the kingdom to come so you can get judged about how come you can't control your lust or your negative outlook or your emotions and your poor temperament or your pride? You really want that to happen? Moses said, woe to them that want to desire the day of the Lord. It's a day of darkness and not light. We better have all our ducks in a row before that time comes. We better put the necessary work to rehabilitate, fix, clean up as much of our dirty attic as we possibly can. So we can have confidence. As we're going to read in the class, there is a way you can gain confidence to shake out that hopeless mindset that we end up being in. Or to be specific, the false highs and predictable lows that we operate in as Israelites.
It's a pre-sin.
We have these super spiritual, zealous highs, and then we go back to our normal low.
Yeah.
Then we sit back here and talk ourselves into a spiritual high, then we fall back into a low. This happens all of the time. This is why people that manipulate and use religion to hurt people can always get a new sucker every damn day long. Because they just let you go through your cycles and just keep taking your checks week to week, month to month. Versus teaching somebody how to break the cycle so you can sustain yourself through studying scriptures.
Yeah.
Yourself. What we're teaching is how to empower individuals to sustain spiritual clarity.
True.
It's hard as hell, but we're giving you the damn template. There's 344 classes that talk about it. Check them out. So, did you read all that verse yet?
Not yet.
Read on.
It says, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved.
We're trying to find out how young men and women can work on what's inside of them, to work on their fatal flaws so they can get saved. That's why the majority of our classes are about how to get saved, how to fix this, how to overcome this, how to break this, how to fight this. Because that's how you get salvation. One step at a time, one victory at a time, one spiritual accomplishment at a time. What you got, Delia? You got something?
Yeah, I got it. Jeremiah 8:22.
Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 22.
Yes, sir.
Page 363 in the small book.
This is a quick couple of verses we're going to load.
Is there no balm in Gilead?
Is there no balm in Gilead? Balm is medicine. Medicine is a solution. Is there no solution in Gilead? Gilead is the city of the Jews. Where the Jews are at. There's supposed to be medicine amongst the Israelites. Rhetoric, or just simply empty words that call out an obvious character that's wicked, is not necessarily the complete solution to the problem of why Israel's in our condition. It's the surface issue of why Israel is in their condition. Read.
Is there no physician there?
Physician is so a physician is a man that's skillful in remedying problems, skillful in remedying disorders, skillful in remedying sickness. We're supposed to become skilled men in finding solutions to our people's problems. We're supposed to be scribes for Christ and then physicians for Christ. We write scriptures, we study, and then through studying and writing and experience, you gain answers and solutions. And the solution can't be the surface problem of Esau. Read on.
Come. Why then is not the health of the daughter of my people recovered?
And this is why our women haven't recovered. Because we haven't done the work. If the women haven't recovered, that means our families haven't recovered. If we don't have solutions, the white man can't be the problem for everything. We have to have biblical solutions for their problems on a psychological, emotional level. Not just shit talk. Next scripture, Isaiah 9:16.
Isaiah 9 verse 16.
Uh-huh.
For the leaders of this people cause them to err.
So the leaders of this people cause them to err. Why do the leadership of our people cause them to err? Jeremiah 6:14 is going to explain it. Jeremiah 6:14 explains how the leadership causes the nation to err.
Jeremiah 6:14.
Uh-huh.
It says, they have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly.
Slightly. Key word is slightly.
It's a good one.
There's a slight. It's that surface mentality.
It's
surface study.
It's surface.
It's surface studying, surface Israelite, surface work ethic, surface giving, surface compassion, surface unity, t-shirt unity.
It's t-shirt unity. It's making feel good answers out of it. It is.
It's surface. Because we don't want to study and work and sacrifice, grind, and find the real answer.
It's an answer that makes you feel good. This answer that they're about to say that the leaders of our people do is very surface and light.
It's surface. So I go home, teach my rib. Guess what? I can't teach them because I have surface answers. If I go here and do my children, I can't teach them because I have surface answers because I didn't do the work. Read on.
Saying, peace, peace, when there is no peace.
We're going to say it's okay. Shalom, shalom.
Yep.
When there's no shalom, there's no real peace. You know there's no peace? Because I have another work to find the solution.
And also,
you get peace when you go to war and find solutions.
And with us, you get peace when we go to war with yourself.
God.
You can't find peace in yourself until you go to war with yourself. You can't sit back here and have a happy home until you go to war at home.
Yeah.
You can't sit back here. Everybody wants a house that's in order, but if you're not willing to go to war and lose everything, then you don't really have a peaceful house anyway.
You're not fighting for
now you're living a life that's full of placating and just getting by, just surviving.
Compromise life.
Compromise. That's not a spiritual
solution.
Life.
That's temporary.
Exactly.
And what we live with as Israelites and as Jacob, both of us, we are the masters of temporary solutions. We're the masters of that.
Yep.
We're the masters of putting band-aids on bleeding wounds.
Yep. That was. I want to make sure I put that down for people to have. It was Jeremiah 6:14, right?
Yeah, Jeremiah 6:14. Just read that one more time, and then that's
Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 14.
Great verse.
They have
got one
healed.
more.
Yes, they have healed also.
One more.
The hurt of
Greedy
the
ass
daughter.
Israelite. I'm sorry. I got a class to teach tonight. I'm sorry. Keep going, man.
Jeremiah chapter 6 and 14. They have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people, slightly
surface cosmetic.
Great verse.
Babe, let's get a new dress. You gonna feel good in that dress. Ooh, look at you. You look beautiful.
Smile.
I'm supposed to forget about all the weakness that's going on the past 3 months. We just need to eat some food, baby. All this disorder, let's just go eat at, I don't know, wherever y'all like to eat at.
You can't say some bubble spot, man. You
Yeah,
gotta
I'm gonna say Olive Garden, like that's the average, right? You know what I'm saying, like
That's hilarious.
we going to
Texas Day, Brazil.
we going to Texas Day, Brazil, baby. We gonna make love all
Big
night and eat
pile.
all the Brazilian steak you want, so we get it back together. Get this house right. That does not work long term. That's real.
That's awesome.
Next scripture. Let's go to Jeremiah 23, verse 32. This is the last point.
Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 32.
Jeremiah 23, verse 32. And the key point is going off of Ward's topic of, guess what? We're not doing the work study ethic-wise to get the real long-term solutions that are sustainable. Esau calls it being unsustainable.
Yep.
These technologies are not sustainable. You know, right? You can't just keep doing this certain technology where everybody gets cancer and it lasts. We're going to start dying. In 100 years out, we're going to start dying.
No doubt.
It's not working.
God.
All right, let's finish the point. Jeremiah 23, 32.
Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 32.
Behold,
I am against them that prophesied false dreams.
So we know MLK was the dreamer. We get that. Read on.
Saith the Lord, and do tell them, and cause my people to err by their lies.
So people err because they give people dreams. Just feel good stories, make you
To placate.
Yeah. Oh, baby, I'll paint a picture for you. I'm gonna massage your mind a little bit. Imagine, baby, it's gonna be all. Don't worry about it. We're gonna be the kingdom together, holding hands, baby. Look at the butterflies. Just forget about. Listen, you gotta fix it right now.
It's the butterflies with the butterflies.
Look at the butterflies, the lamb and the lion gonna go together. Everyone's gonna be happy. We're gonna be the kingdom. That's great when we get there. How do we solve that? Read on.
It says, and by their lightness.
By their what?
Lightness.
Lightness, bro. Being light, bro. The key point is slightly and light.
Verse.
We're light in like Ward said, the scriptures are too heavy for us. Start falling asleep because we're not exercising our mind.
Yep. And we're not listen. And you know what kills us as Israelite leaders is that we don't challenge our students. Listen, just because we might think a brother can't handle it or a sister can't handle it, doesn't mean that you don't challenge them for Christ's sake. What we just have to do is be able to have enough maturity to know what's the next challenge that's attainable for them. That's what leadership has to be conscious of.
Next baby step.
But the problem is we want to sit back here and make everybody feel good. That doesn't build men. That doesn't build the nation. That doesn't build our people. So this is why we're always dealing with uncomfortable topics that challenge you, topics that make you sit back and look at yourself. And a lot of times you're not going to have all this back and forth interaction and smiling every 5 minutes, because class should be about reflection. Seeing what's inside of you. See how you fit in with these scriptures. See about how the things you can or cannot do match up with what these words say. That's what class should be about. That's how you give a group of people something. That's how you feed the flock. You feed the flock by giving them something that can sustain their spirit over time. That they can go back to days after a time to look back up and check where their mental or spiritual growth has been since the last time they had these type of classes. Anyway, you done with that?
Done.
Now, let's go back to the topic. The first verse of the class is Jeremiah chapter 31 in verse 17. We read from last Friday, we dealt with how Israel, they'll have their hope deferred. And a lot of times their hope is deferred because of their lack of humility. We kind of went through a laundry list of verses in Ecclesiastes 23 about our pride.
It's the things in me that cause my goals and the reality I need in my life for the Most High to bring to me. I have no control over.
Yep.
I need the Most High to reward me. I need the Most High to bless me. But it's the things in me that holds the Most High's hand back.
Remember, it talked about our pride, about having the willingness to have our thoughts scourged, having the willingness to sit back here and communicate our specific issues to our ignorances. We had to Most High said He wanted our ignorances to be pointed out so we can fix them. But you got to bring out your ignorances for them to even be worked on in itself. So that our lack of communication, our lack of execution, our lack of wanting to be told the truth about ourselves are the reasons why the hopes that we have are melted away or don't come true. So with that being the case, now we're in Jeremiah 31 and we start dealing with the Most High's reproach or the Most High's punishments that come from doing things our way.
Now, when you say punishment, you're talking about the consequences.
The Most High's reproach. Now we're going to go into reproach. But reproach in a nutshell is just to charge with a fault in a severe language, to upbraid, to suggest blame for a thing, to be disgraced, object of contempt or derision. All reproach means is dealing with the Most High's anger or lack of approval for what we're bringing to the table. And when the Most High doesn't approve how we do things, the level of intensity we do things, there's consequences. And a lot of times we get down and dejected because of the consequences the Most High puts on us for not listening. And a lot of times we can't shake the fact that the Most High reproached us and didn't honor what we wanted Him to honor.
So these are the results of
not locking in and listening and following counsel. These are the results of being out of order. These are the results of being disrespectful. So what ends up happening when we do things out of order and the Most High don't bless us, then there's dejection. Behind it. Now I'm upset. Now I'm depressed. Now I feel bad because I'm not getting blessed. These are other aspects of hopelessness. I don't do things right. The Most High doesn't accept it. Now I'm upset. The Most High doesn't accept it. Let's read the verse. I don't want to do too much talking.
What you had brought up last class was people's unrealistic expectations when it comes to the point of, I want to sit here, I'm going to work every single day, but I'm not going to put energy into the specific problem I have going on. So I expect the energy and effort I put over here, 8 to 9 hours, to yield results.
In an arena that I'm not putting the work to say that, but working.
Nothing connect, no connection.
And then when we don't get blessed, we don't get acknowledged, there is a consequence behind that. But that consequence, a lot of times, is too difficult for us to bear. And then there's sadness and unhappiness with the result of our actions. And a lot of times we have problems picking ourselves up from that reproach. Let's read there. Jeremiah 31, verse 17 through 19.
Jeremiah 31 and verse 17. It says, and there is hope in thine end, saith the Lord, that thy children shall come again to their own border.
This is obviously talking about consequences, or not. There's hope that after all the correction and the smashing and the fire, there will be blessing at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Read on.
When you say correction, you're talking about.
This is about the correction of the nation.
Okay.
We're talking about the correction on a national level, but you can take it you can bring it down to a microcosm of individuals.
Because you had brought out last class, just updating us. You had brought up the point that if you want to grow, that means you have to accept there's going to be a succession of critique and correction.
Yes.
To get to that state. And that's the price we have to pay.
And we're gonna explain that. Okay. Cool. Let's keep going.
Verse 18. I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself thus. Thou hast chastised me.
He says here he can hear Ephraim, the 9.5 tribes, bemoaning themselves. in complete sadness and dejection, saying what?
I was chastised as a bullock unaccustomed to the yoke.
And isn't that how we get hit? There was a bulldog that never been put on the yoke. I had to say it, because that's us. We're stubborn. We want to do what the hell we want to do, and when you finally get and come to grips about where you're at in your life, we're getting punched in the gut, and it hurts. But this is the reality of Ephraim, the 9.5 tribes. He's saying there's hope that you're going to come back. This is going to work out after 9.5 tribes flee and they get wiped out by starting off with the Spanish and the Portuguese and all these Edomite nations that come and wipe out the 9.5 tribes. They're going to sit back and say, damn, we got chastised like a bullock unaccustomed to the yoke. Because that's how the Most High hits you. You get warned, you get warned, you get warned, but you ain't listening. You only start listening until after you fall. Am I right or wrong? You hit rock bottom, then you hear counsels. Oh, man, I didn't listen. Oh, I wasn't listening then.
And every animal, everybody knows that does agriculture, that the animals that don't take the yoke, which is the harness.
Yep.
If you don't accept the harness or the discipline of the yoke, then there's nothing but lashes, because you can't get the work done. Mm-hmm. You can't get the field plowed.
So now we're dealing with, even though the Most High is still saying there's hope for Israel.
Yeah.
Ephraim in this verse can't get past the what? The loss. It is the correction, but it's the loss that comes behind the correction. And a lot of our people can't get past the loss of being disobedient. Can't get past the loss of being, or the idea of being the screw up. Because a lot of us come in the truth, and we're still screwing up. And the Most High is still rubbing our face into the crap that we chosen not to listen to.
He's let it go.
Just like Ephraim is like, listen, Most High's ready to let it go, but we ain't let it go. Because we can't get past the fact that we lost 10 years arguing and fighting. I lost my 20s being confused, chasing women. I burned out 10 years of my life chasing drugs in a high, in a feeling. A lot of times that ends up stinging us because we can't get past the time we lost. And that ends up ruining and breaking down your ability to keep pushing forward so you can grow. How many times, brothers, don't you let it go? The past is the past. Move forward. But that's easier said than done, right? A lot of times we can't get past our failures, and we are defined. We allow ourselves to be defined by our failures. And this is what's happening with Ephraim right here. Read verse 18 from the top again.
God. Jeremiah 31 and verse 18. I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself thus. Thou hast chastised me, and I was chastised, as a bullock unaccustomed to the yoke. Turn thou me, and I shall be turned.
So now, read on.
For thou art the Lord my power.
So now there's that willingness to be turned. The willingness to change. Read on.
Verse 19. Surely, after that I was turned, I repented.
So surely after I turned, I repented.
So, but to be turned, you have to allow yourself to be turned, and you have to want to turn.
Good. But see, now this person is willing. Listen, so what he's saying is, I'm willing to be repentant. I'm ready to change now. Now you beat me down so much. Now I'm ready to listen. Right? Now I'm ready to sit back here and follow the right course. Read on.
And after that, I was instructed.
Now I can be taught. Because that's how the Most High has to deal with us. He has to deal with us the hard way. A lot of times, you can give a person the counsel 5, 10, 15 times. They don't want to listen. Am I right or wrong? People don't listen until she walks out the door. People don't listen until they're rock bottom. They don't have anything to speak for what they've done for 5, 10, 15 years.
Everything's crashed up.
Until you lose. People, listen, you can talk. People don't take it seriously. They lose rank. All these things are real. So this is what's what the Most High is explaining about the 9.5 tribes. But we can look at it as all of us because we're all the same way. I'm not pointing out the 9.5 tribes. I said Ephraim. Ephraim was the head of the 9.5 tribes. But he's still talking about us. Because every one of us got a story like this. We had to go rock bottom because we just didn't want to listen. But now we're going to listen to God now. Cool. Well, let's keep going.
God. Verse 19. I smote upon my thigh. I was ashamed.
I smote upon my thigh. That's me. Now that I sat back here and I've been broken, now I'm regretting why I didn't listen in the first place. That's one thing about like, damn it, what was I thinking, man? What the hell have I been doing this whole time?
Now I see myself.
Now I see it.
Because at first, I didn't see.
I was that yoke. I was that animal that didn't want to take the yoke. Now I'm looking at myself like, damn, what am I doing? I was wasting my damn time. But now you feel like dog, you know what? You feel like crap. And you're like, damn, now I got to start back over. I done lost every damn thing.
Yeah.
Now I'm smoting my thigh.
I'm starting over from scratch. I'm starting over.
I'm starting over from scratch because that was the only way the Most High was going to get your attention. But the notion that you had to start all over is what? It's demoralizing. Getting taken rock bottom is the worst thing ever. But what else was it going to take to get you to start reading the damn Bible?
No Magic Council could have did it.
So now you're at the bottom and you feel like crap because you're at the bottom and you can't get past the fact that you've wasted years. Read on.
God. Yea, even confounded.
Why the hell was I doing what I was doing? Read on.
Because I did bear the reproach of my youth.
Now I'm dealing with the reproach of my youth. To be specific, I'm dealing with the reproach of the sins of my youth. That I wasn't willing to sit back here and acknowledge and fight earlier.
Oh.
Once again, the topic of the class, the title of the class is defeating hopelessness. What do we have to do to get ourselves out of this cycle of unhappiness, sadness, dejection? Oh, it's too, the hill or the mountain is too high to climb. I've wasted too much damn time messing around.
This is the relevance of this class. I'm not saying it's not relevant.
I hope it's relevant. Everybody in TV land and brothers and sisters in class.
The reason why it's the relevance of it is, you will get to a point eventually where you want to change. Listen, you keep losing. How about that? You keep losing. Eventually, you're gonna want to change. Hopefully.
Do you want to lose 10 years?
Listen, bro.
Why are you waiting?
There will be a moment of clarity. People drink. They get to a moment of clarity. That happens in real life too. When you
drink to clarity.
Because some people drink and they're so drunk they just drink and all of a sudden they get to a point they call it a moment of clarity.
I don't know about that.
That's what the drinkers.
I know we're talking. We joke like the answer. We joke like the answer's in the bottom. And you keep looking for that answer and you just don't find it, man. Yeah. You keep going bottle after bottle. There's no damn answer there.
No, they say you drink until you get sober. That's a crazy thing. I've never been there before.
I'm gonna say this from personal experience. There's no answer at the bottom of that bottle. You might want to try again the next day and go another bottle and look for that answer. There's no answer there either. Let's go to another one. You know, there's no answer there either.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'll just get to the point then. The point I'm trying to get to is...
I wasn't changing.
I'll get to my point. I use the alcohol analogy, but that wasn't working. So listen. So look at like this.
All we're saying is to pursue the flesh. Hey, bro, you're not getting it, man. You can choose your drug of choice. It ain't gonna change anything.
There was a famous Israelite that said the only way you know you're in the spirit is when you're out of the spirit.
That wasn't a famous Israelite. That was an Israelite of infamy.
That was infamy.
That was an infamous.
The only way you know you're in the spirit is to be out of the spirit. So like basically,
that was a real word he said. And you could tell how spiritual that person was.
You can do so much negative to you, like, oh, I'm really out of the spirit, right? Yeah. The point we're getting to is there's a phase of time where you go from getting corrected and you fight the Most High because you're trying to resist the change.
Yeah.
Then you have to accept the change. And there's a period where you hit the rock bottom, and there's a point. This is the point I'm trying to get to, where now that I'm at rock bottom, do I fight to get where I want to be?
But because once you get rock bottom, and you finally realize how much time you've wasted, you finally realize how off you were.
Yeah.
The road back up to normalcy seems like you'll never get there.
Exactly.
And it's like, what the hell am I doing? And do I have enough of what it takes to get back where I need to get to? Because one of the verses I want to pull, somebody quickly give me Ecclesiastes 23 in verse 10. We went over it on Friday. I want to bring this verse back again because this is what a lot of us have to kind of overcome so we can break this hopeless feeling. Read that, Ecclesiastes 23 in verse. I know a lot of brothers that are in the work, they'll sit back here, all the requests and demands. It feels like, damn, man, am I going to ever catch up? Am I going to ever get to where I need to be? And when you think that way, you better break that spirit and attack that immediately. But read this verse.
Ecclesiastes 23 and verse 10. For as a servant that is continually beaten shall not be without a blue mark.
Listen, we're a nation of people that are full of blue marks, full of bruising, full of getting beaten and beaten and beaten because we just don't listen. Now, once you realize that you've been wrong and you've been getting beat and you have a bunch of blue marks on your body, are you prepared to get yourself back up and do things the right way so that the Most High can start rewarding you? That's where we're at now. After we've been beaten and we've lost children, we've lost kids, we've lost things that we love because of our rebellion. Are we going to sit back here, accept the fact that we've lost these things, and then step up and fight now and start trying to live to do right and take those difficult climbs one step at a time to rebuild your spirit? Or do you let the fact that you're at the bottom keep you at the bottom so that you don't fight to regain the spirit and strength the Most High intends for you to have?
God.
Because that's what this is about. You're going to step up and fight and just be humble and do things the right way? Or just stick with the fact that you're a homeborn servant and that you're just going to get beat for the rest of your life? Are we going to sit back here and still be that rebellious spirit? Or finally get tired of getting beat and do things right?
Make the corrections.
And make the corrections. Let these verses go. And give me Psalm 69, verse 19.
Psalm 69 and 19.
And 20.
Through 20.
And yeah, let me jump there real quick, bro. Psalm 69, 19, and 20.
Thou hast known my reproach, and my shame, and my dishonor. Mine adversaries are all before thee.
Now read it again, verse 19 from the top. Sorry, I was reading something at the same time.
19 from the top. Thou hast known my reproach.
And the Most High is like, this is David saying to the Most High, you've known my reproach. You know what you're putting me through. You know how you've corrected me. You know how you've chastised me. You know how you've brought me low. Read on.
And my shame, and my dishonor. Mine adversaries are all before thee.
You know, it's crazy. Listen, David's like, man, you know how I felt. You know what I'm suffering. And it feels like the whole damn world knows where my weakness is at. You know, it's crazy. That's what kills men too. Everybody knows what your weakness is.
Yeah.
Everybody in the camp knows you're that guy that has this problem.
God.
And that's an ugly damn feeling, isn't it?
God.
It's an ugly feeling. No, this is the guy that can't control this. This is the guy that just don't want to fight this. And this is the guy that don't want to read this. This is the guy that can't take a check. You name him. This guy can't fight this at home. This is a reproach that David's like, I know what my battle is. You know what my battle is. Everybody knows where I'm weak at. Read on.
Reproach hath broken my heart.
And this is what ends up happening. The reproach that breaks a man's spirit. The fact that the Most High stung you breaks a lot of men. But it can't.
Some men can't take the sting.
Well, that's the problem. That's what we're talking. That's why people stay in this hopeless,
Wallowing spirit of hope.
wallowing. What's that? That spirit of despair.
Yeah.
Because brothers, a lot of us can't face
Yeah.
the fact that they failed multiple times, and the issue is out for everybody to see.
It's
The cat's out the quote unquote bag.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you're that guy, and a lot of people can't get past that feeling of shame because it's their pride still to get back on your feet and fight again. This is why men don't overcome their issues, because the shame has overcome them. The self-hatred has overcame them because of what they've once failed in.
They're being overthrown.
They're being overthrown by their shame,
by their reaction,
which is a form of pride. It's one thing to be proud for the sin you've done. While you were in your sin, you were proud. Now you're proud because you look bad because of what you've done. And you can't get past the shame of how bad you look for your past previous conducts. Is what I'm saying making sense? Read on.
Reproach hath broken my heart, and I am full of heaviness. And I looked for some to take pity, but there was none.
Yeah, ain't nobody pitying for you. Get off your ass and fight. When somebody say, "Oh, you're weak." Well, I understand that you're weak. It's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Listen, he's like David. He was hoping that people pitied me. You ain't getting ain't no free lunch, B. Stop. Well, what am I trying to say?
Yeah, fix it.
Listen,
that's the only comfort.
The only comfort you're going to get is how to overcome it.
That's the only comfort you're getting.
Listen, the comfort is fix it and feel better about yourself after you fix it.
Redeem.
But what we want to do, we want somebody to sit back and say, "It's okay. I've sinned too, brother. I was weak like you was, brother. I get it. Let's drink and talk about it. Let's go to the club. Drinks on me." That's what we want. We want somebody to make us feel good about how sloppy we were. That'll take the edge off the shame. Instead of dealing with that feel bad, that's what the scripture talks about. About being
repentance.
Not repentance, but yeah. About it's in the New Testament.
Sorrow worketh repentance.
What's that? Yeah, godly sorrow. Yeah, you're supposed to sit back here and make somebody feel bad about their conduct. That shame is supposed to be there. The shame is part of the healing process.
Yeah. But rather to your salvation.
You're supposed to use the shame to get you back up and fight.
For momentum.
But a lot of us just can't get past the fact that we sinned and we're down and we're broken. And we stay in that repeated broken spirit. Because we don't use what we've gone through as an antidote to fight what's inside of me to be better.
This is a lesson. This should be a lesson for me. It's supposed to be a lesson. This can't be the end of me. Yeah.
This can't be the end of you because you've sinned and you've fallen to the bottom. The scripture does say the Most High in an instant can make a poor man rich. And I'm not talking about finances. A man that's poor in spirit can be made rich in spirit if he's humble. Because the problem is when you're low, when you're broken down low, you want somebody to tell you it's okay. Rub your bottom and tell you it's okay, man. You're going to feel better.
Mama effect.
They want that mama, right? But as a man, you got to get up, fight, be humble, and move forward. Read that part. Read verse 20 again.
From the top. Reproach hath broken my heart, and I am full of heaviness.
Exactly. Because this is that cycle that a lot of us can't get off. Regret. It's still regret. We try to move forward, but we can't get past the fact that we screwed up something big. Something big that you can't get back. And that ends up affecting people down the line. Read on.
And I looked for some to take pity, but there was none.
You're not gonna get the reassurance that your sin wasn't as bad as it really was, because it was bad. And what you lost, you deserve to lose because of your conduct. But can you accept your decisions and what you did and the cost of your decisions? And can you take ownership for your decisions and what you did and what you lost, so you can move forward again and don't do it again? Read on.
And for comforters, but I found none.
You're not gonna get. I love how it was read. I'm not laughing at it. I'm just laughing at how it was read. But there's no comfort. You're not gonna get any comforters from your sin.
Because people really aren't gonna sit here and they might not relate to it. If people relate to it or not, I still have to accept the fact that, listen, I gotta make the change.
Done.
Because some of us do get pats in the back. Some of us do get the comfort, and it's doing a man a disservice.
It's still a temporary fix. You still gotta face the fact.
Yeah.
that once you have that shame, you know what comes behind that shame? Self-hatred.
Yeah.
I can't stand myself. I loathe myself because of these decisions that I once made.
Yeah.
And a lot of us can't get past that self-loathing to get strong enough to find enough substance inside and fuel to keep doing right and living right, because you can't get past what you lost.
True.
And this is how we got to go in the scriptures to find out how to overcome this. So let's continue. What's that at?
Can I get one scripture?
No.
Okay.
Proverbs chapter 12 verse 25.
Proverbs 12 and 25.
Hold on a second.
All right.
Proverbs 12 and 25.
Heaviness in the heart of man maketh it stoop.
He says, heaviness in the heart of man maketh it stoop. Makes what stoop? Makes your head stoop. It makes your whole personality stoop. That heaviness is that regret from your mistakes. Your regret from the reproach the Most High put on you, dealing with the loss. Listen. We're trying to teach men how to fight so that they don't have. We're trying to teach men to fight that have made mistakes and have lost. But on the flip side, this is why we teach men to listen early. So you don't got to deal with this shit. This is why we teach men to fight their battles when it's the appropriate time to fight your battles. So you don't got to deal with the blowback from not listening for 10 years. We're trying to do it early. But for those who just got to learn the hard way, this is how you overcome it. First things first, this reproach we have ends up affecting your body language. That heaviness makes the heart stoop. That's as your body language is down. Now I'm sad, now I'm dejected. Now I got this dark cloud hovering over my head.
Low confidence.
Or low confidence, this weird vibe that you got.
Low confidence, insecurity, self-esteem issues, and then inability and desire to move forward and do something else enthusiastically. I don't have the enthusiasm for any other challenges. Because you just get a brother, he's stuck on level 3. He's stuck there.
Because he's sad. Because I can't get past how much time I've lost.
We have more.
How many mistakes we've had.
We have more battles to fight. We have more things to accomplish. Brother's like, I'm just on level 3. I'm just. They keep bringing up this. They go back to the story and they remix the whole story.
Is that 10-line narrative?
Yeah, the 10-line narrative. They press the remix button, the rewind button. You hear all the same stories, and now okay, we're back here.
Yep.
What are we gonna do now? Well, you gotta understand, brother.
I lost this. I made these mistakes, and this is why I'm in the situation I'm in. You hear this all the time. I made these mistakes, and this is why I'm here.
It's a sell.
I made these mistakes, and this is why I'm here.
I'm trying to sell you why you should.
Why I'm not fighting. Why you should push me. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a sell.
Exactly.
But,
Yati had a question than you.
Yeah, is that bashfulness?
It's bashfulness. It's dejection. That's one word you can use, but we're just trying to use the spirit of just that defeated. It's a defeated spirit.
Yeah.
Yes, sis?
Does it ever manifest itself in anger as opposed to
Yes.
melancholy or?
Yep. It could be melancholy or it could hell yes anger because it's whatever I got to do to not face forward.
Yeah.
Whatever a person does to not see themselves,
It's deflected.
to take accountability, because you know why? It's easier to be angry at somebody than to take ownership. Some people project anger. Some people, I guess we went here because we've gone over a bunch of classes at other times about how we project outward. I think the classes before this, we were dealing with outward projection. This class is about inward projection and about those of us who stopped using other people as a scapegoat, and the ones in these classes are dealing with the ones who just beat themselves up
all day.
And I'm the reason things aren't going right. It's never going to change. I can't do it. We have different polarities of sickness in different type of people. So
and
no
different
doubt,
reactions to the same problem.
I'm going to project outward, or I'm going to self-condemn.
Or I'm going to take everybody around me.
But both processes get me nowhere.
God.
And don't get me to change what's inside of me. And then some people self-soothe, buying shoes and cars. I've seen brothers do that. When they're down and they're sad, it's time to go shopping.
It's time to drip.
It's time to go. I've seen that. I see it all the time. When I'm sad and depressed, shopping to make me feel better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get me some new shoes, new clothes, a new whip.
Yep. It's eating, it's shopping, it's intimacy, it's drinking.
Yep.
It's coagulating with men. Just getting lots of people to coagulate around me. Just people around me, so I gotta think about me. Different people have different reactions, but we're doing the same problem. How do you get out of this dark area?
Yep.
How do you get out of the sunken place?
Yep. Sunken place is a real thing in this realm.
Come.
You would think, and this is why we started off class about the importance of dealing with issues like this. Because a lot of us will walk around, smile, salute, wear fringes, and just be in a perpetual state of unhappiness. And in that perpetual state of unhappiness will change nothing about their actions to get them out of this situation. So there's this perpetual stooping and just downtrodden energy that keeps emanating off of our people. And nothing changes, and we still want salvation. We still want salvation. We still want blessings. I'm gonna go over that later.
Oh, you got that?
Yes.
Oh, word.
So we finish that verse yet?
La.
Continue.
But a good word maketh it glad.
Yeah. You know.
The good word should be the solution.
Yeah. The good word brings about peace of mind.
It should be the solution.
And it changes the continence. It changes the disposition if you choose to hold on to it. Let that go. Give me Ecclesiastes 36 in verse 20. We're going to go into an aspect of why having this mindset, having this sadness and this heaviness is an element of something.
Ecclesiastes 36 and 20.
People, we've been saying it this whole time, but people that hold on to this heaviness is really holding on to another thing. Ecclesiastes 36 and 20.
Ecclesiastes chapter 36 verse 20. A forward heart.
A froward, that's F-R-O. That's not F-O-R. That's F-R-O. Froward means disobedient. Froward means disobedient. So a disobedient mind, read on.
A froward heart causeth heaviness.
Listen, if you keep holding on to this heaviness and sadness, there's disobedience in you. For a person who wants to sit back here and stay in this sad, broken state, it's because you choose wickedness. You're choosing negative. You're choosing disobedience because the Most High is trying to pull us out of these circumstances. If you read Isaiah chapter 40 and 1, the Most High says, he says, it's time to speak comfortable words to you. Your warfare is over. But if the warfare is over, why are we still in this dejected, broken spirit? Because we choose to be rebellious. We choose rebellion over change. I know people who are predisposed just to be sad. They're just predisposed to be unhappy. And they tell themselves, give themselves a reason why they're unhappy.
My happiness.
When you choose that, that's you choosing wickedness.
I'm choosing unhappiness because the idea of me being happy is almost a cover not to change. Listen, I don't have to change. Look how sad I am.
Yes.
Don't push me. I'm so sad.
And sad should make you, I understand, brother. Take your time.
And when
that's a damn wicked spirit.
And when Smiles pushes them, this person's
I have suffered.
Yeah.
I have lost.
Yeah. But listen, there's a certain
That's
period
a
of time.
covering,
It's a covering. But it's not the Most High Spirit.
It's still not the Most High Spirit, but because somebody's crying or they're sad, that makes the person feel that we don't care because we're pushing the person when they're sad. That sadness, that heavy heart, is you holding on to negative. It's still you not wanting to change. Get yourself up and fight.
I'm sad because I have to change.
Exactly.
That's what.
Because I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that their sadness is part of their identity. That woe is me kind of vibe is part of what makes them them. Just like you have a person with pride or extreme lust, their lust is in their self. There's that cycle of sadness, and that cycle of self-sabotage.
There you go.
That is a lust of the flesh as well.
Spirit is self-afflicting.
It's a self-afflicting spirit. And for those of us who have made mistakes, who have hit rock bottom, that spirit of wanting to quit and not push forward intensifies more. But holding on to that heaviness, read verse 20 again.
Ecclesiastes chapter 36, verse 20. A froward heart.
A disobedient mind. Read on.
Causeth heaviness.
It's that disobedient mind feeds that heaviness.
And forward.
Feeds the spirit to stay in that sad mindset.
I got to pause right
it's
here.
It's like you, so I'm gonna let you go because no, it's fro, F-R-O.
Okay, this is okay.
Because the thing is, like you said, people that are sad and feel bad really is a person that just doesn't want to change, and they'll choose sadness versus not changing. What you gonna say?
Oh man, never mind.
You want to change? You want to change this life?
It says perverse also.
Yeah.
Perverse. Because it says the first thing is perverse. So what's perverse? Let's find that out. I read it back today. It was pretty hard. Perverse. Let's find out. Let's find out what that means.
Trying to
1, 2.
keep the energy going.
Yeah, it's a bad thing.
It's very
Can
bad.
somebody look at perverse?
Perverse.
There you go. Got it. Okay. There we go. I found it. I found it out. It says perverse, number 2.
It's a bad thing. It's
It's
a
so
bad
bad.
thing.
You gotta understand that. Don't be that way. Don't you be perverse. Whatever that means, don't be that. Number 2 says obstinate in wrong. So obstinate means I'm stuck and I'm stubborn in my negative. I'm going to do this whether you like it or not. I'm going to do this besides it. I know the consequences, and I'll take the consequences. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm very stubborn, and stubborn is like a sin of what? Witchcraft. I mean, you can't be told anything, and you're mighty in your opinion. So I'm obstinate or bold or stubborn in what I'm doing, what I want to do. Then it says untractable. I mean, you can't even be convinced. A brother will try to counsel you before you go into the negative. Yeah, this is not what you want to do. This is going to destroy your whole house. This is going to slow you down. This is against the camp policy. We just talked about this like last week. We said in class about this. Brothers, look you in the face like this. Con. I go home now, and then you get a report. Because I'm not tractable. I can't really be persuaded even to do the right thing.
Yeah.
I'm not malleable. That's the part of that forward mind. I can't be convinced.
Good.
Yes, sir.
No, just on your point of froward. When you look at the definition of froward, it says not willing to yield or comply with what is required, unyielding, ungovernable, disobedient.
I can't be disciplined. And so there has to be a consequence for my lack of discipline. That's what happens to men. But men can't deal with the consequence of the discipline the Most High implements on them. The restriction the Most High gives us, which is the losing of our blessings. The losing of rank, the losing of finances, the losing of ribs, the losing of vehicles, the losing of liberties.
So let's continue on give me verse 20 again.
Ecclesiastes 36 and 20. A froward heart causeth heaviness.
That disobedient mind is what causes the heaviness, and it is what maintains that heaviness. I'm glad you brought that point earlier, just about how that disobedient mind uses that heaviness to just not to change.
Yeah.
And I'm not good enough, or I can't do it, or I've made all these mistakes, and this is why I just can't get out of these issues.
That's an Uno stop card. They just put it down. You gotta stop counseling.
Yeah.
Gotta stop pushing me.
Yeah.
Stop.
It's the truth. And it kills a lot of people's spirit. But keep going.
But a man of experience will recompense him.
A man of experience will recompense himself. Listen, it takes the willingness to follow instruction to gain the experience that's needed to build positive momentum. This is what it takes to overcome that heaviness. It takes experience. It takes experience in the arenas where you keep failing at. We keep talking about how dejected and sad people are, but the problem is there's not enough work to gain experiences to overcome that heaviness. Instead of talking about how dejected you are, start getting some solutions and applying some solutions to start gaining confidence in yourself to keep moving forward. We're so caught up in the loss, we're not focused enough on gaining the experiences that we've lacked to fill those gaps. But it's easier, like you said, to feel sad and dejected than to gain experience. What do I got to do to turn this frown upside down?
Huh?
What do I got to do to sit back here and take these failures? And I'm not going to bring up a rap song, but there's a bunch of damn rap songs that talk about went from negative to positive, and it's all
good. Look, that song is the archetype of what we're talking about.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, you fully hip-hop song is the archetype of it?
In negative, though. Because what he's saying is, I
spin the negatives.
I was in poverty. I didn't have Gucci. I didn't have Polo. I had a solus on my chest to be accepted. Girls didn't like me.
You sold the alligator on his chest.
The alligator. Guys beat me up. I was bullied. He took all his bad experiences and said, you know what the solution is? I'm gonna start robbing niggas, killing niggas, beating niggas, selling dope. And I'm gonna write
raps about it.
And everybody that picked on me, everybody that took me bad, everybody that owed me money.
We gotta bring the spiritual out. I gotta get the spiritual solution somewhere.
He went and invested and committed to negative to overthrow his condition when he was suffering.
So you're saying Hope did that, so we didn't have to do that?
That's what he says. But what we should be doing, we should be committed to more righteous works to overcome our poverty.
Yes.
Because it is poverty. It's called being poor in spirit.
Spiritually poor.
Because the issue really is, what it really is at root, its root nature is, our only solution to problems were our old man solution to problems.
Mm-hmm.
Our quote unquote, our pre-Israelite ways or solutions, which is our previous coping mechanism.
Carnal solutions.
So we use carnal solutions to solve spiritual problems.
Facts.
And then we stay in these pits. Whereas we have to actually be humble enough to start collecting righteous ways of solving problems, righteous solutions. Going back to today's class.
Yes.
That's the only way to pull myself out of hopelessness. All the pizza and all this, all the ice cream is not going to solve the problem.
Binge eating God.
Okay,
so listen, so the experience is what helps do what? Pulls a person out of the rut.
God.
But in order to even get experience and gain experience, you have to go back, get counsel, relearn, get retaught, and do things the right way.
Hey,
you got to get out of that. First, you got to get out of that heaviness.
Yeah.
Like we read in Jeremiah 31, Most High stings you. He wants you to be better. Yeah. He stings you, he breaks you. But now you got to get back off your feet and fight. But that's the issue. Getting out of your head, getting out of your disobedient thoughts, and reestablishing yourself and fighting again. So you can learn the proper experience to get you reestablished. The next verse is Proverbs 16 and 20. I was already going there, just so you know.
So you're saying we should be dwelling.
We're dwelling when we're harping on the sadness, and it keeps you from moving forward to gain the proper experience you need. Read that.
Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 20. He that handleth a matter wisely shall find good.
And this is what the Most High is trying to get us to do. Get out of our feelings, get out of those emotions, and learn how to handle things wisely. What is a wise person? What is wisdom? The correct application of knowledge. Get out of your head, get out of your feelings, and start learning how to do things the right way. What kills us is we're too emotionally wrapped up into the things we do. If we're going to sit back here and grow, we have to detach all those emotions and those feelings and those ties that keep you from growing and focus on wisdom and strategy. And stop being children in the spirit. You ever sit back here and see a child walking and he's hanging out with his mom and dad, and he falls and he looks at you to see if you're going to react to the fact that he fell, and depending on how you react will determine if he cries. I don't know if you're sitting like this, and if you're like, oh, what happened? I fell! Or be like this, and you're like, oh, you'll be alright. Then he wants you like, I guess it wasn't that bad. And the cry won't be as bad. That's how we are. We're so caught. I fell. We're all caught in the emotion of falling. Versus, like, get up, get your ass up, and get back to work, man. We're getting all these feelings and emotions. We get all Carl Thomas out here. Saw Carl Thomas like a mug.
I'll never be the same.
Get out of Carl Thomas land. I can fight your battle.
That's real.
And stop being emotional. That was why I said Carl Thomas. Emotional. For those who don't know, it's a very good song. What's the point? But we operate like that. And this is why it's hard to change and start tapping into experience. But this is why Proverbs 16:20 said, listen, when you sit back and apply wisdom and do things the right way, the Most High will reward you. If you handle a matter wisely, you're going to find good. And that's all the Most High is saying. He's letting us know you fell because you just didn't handle it the right way. Get up and handle it the right way next time. That's the lesson.
He can't reward us for, like,
this is why the Moses says, listen, I find no pleasure in seeing you pine away. All I can do is to provide a solution that can strengthen you down the line. Whether you choose to use it or not, it's up to you.
He make it the way to escape.
But I find no value in seeing you wither away. Let that go. Jump to Baruch chapter 3, verse 14. Baruch chapter 3, verse 4 through 14.
Baruch chapter 3, verse 4.
Matter of fact, let me see. All right. Let's read that. Baruch chapter 3, verse 4.
Baruch chapter 3, verse 4. O Lord Almighty, thou power of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites and of their children, which have sinned before thee, and not hearkened unto the voice of thee their power. For the which cause these plagues cleave unto us.
These plagues cleave.
These plagues cleave onto us.
Come on, cleave is a hell of a word.
Listen, you got to think about this. Why do you think you had the demons you got from your youth? Who did it come from? Probably came from your daddy and your mama. Listen, whatever crazy you got, it came from somebody. It came from a daddy and mama first. There was some slothfulness in that spirit. Maybe your dad and mama had that slothfulness. A lot of these real demons that we got are familial.
Yeah.
Those are facts. I don't give a shit what nobody says. A lot of the battles we deal with is coming from somebody before us. And
we absorb that.
We absorbed it, and we are becoming spitting images of our family. Yeah. The chaos that's in us came from our family.
When we talk about them, and then we do
I ain't gonna be like that. You're like my daddy. I ain't gonna be like that dude. And you wrote just like this guy. Damn. 10 years later, you are your father's son. Yeah. Or you are your mother's daughter. It's the facts. Because whatever was rolling through that DNA is in you now, bro.
You clone it.
Listen, that crazy Joe, that crazy Joe's in you too. So listen, that negative is being passed down from generation to generation. Continue.
Verse 5. Remember not the iniquities of our forefathers.
And this is the prayer that you're asking. Please forget the iniquities of our forefathers. Also, please forget what? My iniquities. Exactly. This is the prayer. You fall, you make mistakes, you sin, you change, you start doing things wisely. But you're also stop looking for sympathy.
That's what it is.
Sympathy pimping out.
It's sympathy pimping out. People pimp sympathy out.
Okay.
It's the truth. I'm gonna sit here and use the sadness and what I went through as the reason to manipulate people and not have. I'm gonna manipulate my way out of counsel.
Got it. It still goes back to the same point. Listen, all the sympathy and sadness is to keep me from fighting. Once I stop running from that, I start fighting. I get back on my feet. I start doing things the right way with the wisdom, with the instruction. so my experience can amplify. And the process of me changing my request to the Most High is to forget my past iniquities.
Let it go.
And can I trust that the more I change and the more I keep my hands clean, I'm also requesting to the Most High to forget what I've done in the past? In the process of doing both of those things, now I can start operating. I can stop operating in the spirit of regret.
Loathing, yeah.
That self-loathing spirit destroys us. So in order to stop that self-loathing, I have to get off my you-know-what, start changing, do the things the Most High wants me to do to gain positive spiritual experience, which eventually becomes wisdom.
Yeah.
In the process of me changing, now my prayer and request is that the Most High forgets my iniquities. And He forgives me. But if you read all throughout the scriptures, doesn't the Most High constantly repent from the evil that He had set out for His people? I remember in particular there was a time when the Philistines were about to whip up on the Jews, and the Jews were crying. It was like, Samuel, please sit back here and send these offerings up, or we're going to die. And he did it. Samuel did it. And most of he repented of his evil that he had of Israel. He repented. He said it multiple times. Exodus, Deuteronomy, Exodus, Deuteronomy, Samuel. He repented of the evil or the magnitude of the evil he was going to do to us. Same thing for us. We got stung. We get hit. The hit could be worse, but it depends on how quickly we get off our you know what, work on changing, fix what's inside of us, and then pray and ask the Most High to forget what I've done. But what good is all this bullshit prayer if you ain't fixing nothing? It's true. Everyone was the Lord, but I'm sitting my ass up, and I'm praying also at the same damn time. What are you doing?
That Tupac spirituality, right?
Tupac. I ain't gonna put it on that nigga. It's us too.
No,
it's us doing it.
I'm just saying that's the personality of it. I'm gonna pray, Lord, forgive me for killing niggas. Okay.
Oh, is that DMX up?
Yeah, that's DMX.
And my Lord,
yeah.
I tried to stop sinning, but I was supposed to get weed too. What are you talking about, dude? I'm killing people too. Come on, get out of here, bro. What are you doing, huh?
Slips in between.
Yeah, he's like,
come on, huh?
But it's huh?
I'm slipping. I'm falling. I can't get up. Well, why don't you start following the law, my dude? Golly. And you know, I'm trying. Anyway, it's bull. It's bull. So that's us. We're praying. We love the Lord, but we're sinning at the same time. I'm praying and sinning. I'm praying. I'm sinning. I'm praying. Sinning. I'm praying. Praying. I'm sinning. Stupid, huh? You see the formula here.
Yeah.
Fix what's inside of you. Change. Then pray. Then pray for the Most High to forget what you've done. There's got to be actions behind the prayers for the prayers to be recognized and acknowledged.
He's sick of empty words.
Huh? Anyway. Continue.
Baruch chapter 3, verse 5. Remember not the iniquities of our forefathers, but think upon thy power and thy name now at this time.
It's also about the fact that please forgive our sins. Think about your name and the fact that there's got to be some people left for this kingdom.
Please.
Because there's been a lot of times the Most High, He'll sit back here and just not destroy us for His name's sake.
Yeah.
You're like, just sit back. There's got to be some people left. There's got to be some. There's got to be a nation to exist on earth.
Only 8 people made it.
Sometimes, I ain't gonna lie to you. Sometimes I'm like, there's so much crap in Israel. How they cuss? Are we gonna find 144 out of this? 144,000 out of here? That is bullshit.
Find 14.
You sit back and ask Kyle Cobb, he'll sit back and say the 144,000 is already gone, bro.
Wow.
They're already picked up. Kyle Cobb will give you scriptures. 144,000 is already picked up, and they're in heaven waiting. And that puts a lot of things in perspective. Like, okay.
We're supposed to be defeating hopelessness, right?
Well, that's why I'm bringing it out. I'm like, listen.
Somebody gotta
I'm nurturing it. Ain't no 144,000 in this room. There's a hope for the 1/3.
One out of every 3.
Well, listen. Listen, I can't confirm or deny if that's necessarily the case. I've read it. I've read the scriptures he's pulled, and he makes a compelling argument. You know what? Either way, I'm just going to try to sit back here and fight to get to the pearly gates. If I got to sit back here, and I got to clean the door in the front. I got to be a sweet man out for Moses and Abraham. I'm like, yes, Captain. What you want me to clean? What you want me to sweep up? God. I'm like, yes, Captain. Yes, boss. What you want? I'm like, whatever the hell I got to do to make it. My point is, I understand where there can be an overwhelming issue that could cause paralysis, that could cause the part of us that doesn't want to continue to change and fix. I get it.
That's why you gotta change just for today.
Huh?
You gotta change just for today. You gotta focus on just. And
that's the thing. Yes. Well, no. It ain't. That's right.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right. Hell, listen. When you're sitting back here and you feel overwhelmed, listen. Clean hands making the man stronger and stronger.
Exactly.
That's how I look at it. Exactly. Let me sit back here and work on let me eat some vegetables today. Let me eat some fruit for lunch, my guy. It's the same thing with diet. If it's diet, if it's whatever the hell it is, whatever I gotta fix, can I sit back here and jog for a mile? Jogging for can I jog for a mile to kind of get some positive momentum going on? Well, what can I do to break this horrible chain of events that's going on in my life right now? Little at a time, and I can build momentum so I can gain real confidence in a situation. Same thing here.
Which is repentance.
And then in the process, if you're fighting, now I can ask the Most High to forget about what I've done in the past.
And it's more believable when He sees you do the work. And you're crying and saying, "Please forgive me." That's one thing, which I understand that 100%. I get that. But then there's also, I'm doing work to change. I'm doing righteous works, and I'm praying the Most High to let it go. That's a different situation.
So, let's continue. Read on.
Verse 6. For thou art the Lord our power, and thee, O Lord, will we praise.
Mm-hmm.
And for this cause thou hast put thy fear in our hearts, to the intent that we should call upon thy name.
So listen, the Most High sits back here and puts that fear in us. He goes to the extreme to break us, to get us to go back to Him and serve Him with gladness and joyfulness of heart. Without that fear, there's no respect.
Yep.
Without the fear that I can lose everything at any given moment, most people won't change and make the necessary adjustments. So now that fear is instilled properly into our people, now there's motivation and action behind it. Read on.
And praise thee in our captivity. Let me read that again. To the intent that we should call upon thy name, and praise thee in our captivity. For we have called to mind all the iniquity of our forefathers that sinned before thee.
So what was the purpose of the fall? What was the purpose of our fall? Is to acknowledge our sin, to acknowledge what got us to this point. And once you acknowledge how you got to the fall, then you make the adjustments so that you don't fall again. That's what He's looking for. But a lot of times, we're so caught up in the fall, and what we've lost in the fall, we don't really understand that it was about the lesson. It was about why I fell. How was I sinning? How was I detached from pleasing the Heavenly Father? If I can figure out how and the why, and change that through counsel, through brothers counseling, through scriptures and counseling, that's what He's trying to get you to focus on. But our people are focused on the emotional loss. We're focused on what we lost emotionally, and not on the lesson that the Most High intended us to learn. If we focus on the lesson, like what they're saying here is, I understand why my forefathers sinned. I understand why we sinned. So now we can sit back here and make that right. It's always been the way He's dealt with us. Where was your rebellion? Where was your mindset at when you failed? When I took these things away from you, when I cursed you, how was your thinking? How was your mind towards me? How was your mind towards your brothers? How was your mind towards your sisters? How is your mind towards your husband? That's what you got to correct. Once you can correct that, then your prayers can start getting acknowledged. Then you can sit back and ask the Most High to forgive the sins you've made, because you understand why you sinned in the first place. Continue.
Verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us, for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments.
Don't we are subject to payments. You got sin pays. Sin costs. Now, back in this situation, we were sitting back here under crazy tariffs and taxes. When the Babylonian sick is over, we had to pay money. We had to be servants. When the Persian Median Empire we was paying taxes for the uplifting of the Persian Empire. And you can go down to Greeks, Romans, and so forth and so on. We had to pay money. We had to pay taxes. We had to rent unto Caesar's. Rent unto Caesar what's Caesar's. Just like we're doing now. That's the cost of losing our empire. But sin, what it's showing is that sin cost. When you sin, there is a cost that's due when you're not in order. So in the process of us making payments, spiritual or physical, for our sinning, read verse 8 from the top.
Verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us, for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers.
And this once again, can we get to the real reality of why we're getting stung and what we're having to pay back for our sins? And can we acknowledge that? Because it's about learning the lesson so you don't do it again. Read on.
According to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power.
So in the midst of our captivity, in the midst of our fall, the right spirit we're supposed to be in is, why did we fall? Now we understand that on a national level. This is Baruch. Baruch was the understudy of Jeremiah. So this is doing the Babylonian captivity. So in the middle of us being in captivity in Babylon and being captives, Baruch is trying to figure out why the hell they've been captives in the first place. And as a nation, they're trying to understand, how did we lose everything? How did we hit rock bottom? Because this was us hitting rock bottom in Baruch. Because we lost our entire nation and land. And we got kicked out of Jerusalem. We've been going on Sabbath class about the beauty and majesty of the temple and the beauty and majesty of of Jerusalem. All that fell to you know what during this period of time. So in the midst of that complete fall and that complete loss of everything, now there's some soul searching that has to happen. But this same fall happens to us also. What did I do? How did I roll to where I completely fell face on my face and I'm having to start over again? Or I took a real big loss because of my conduct. Instead of being dejected, instead of focusing on the shame of the reproach
situation.
Because what the problem is, when you're rock bottom and you're in the spirit of heaviness, you're so focused on the shame of it, you're not focused on why did the Most High take these things from you.
We're focused on the emotional energy versus the objective solution.
And that's what we're talking about.
And that's
we got to get out of the emotion of the loss and focus on the spiritual lesson behind the loss. What is he teaching you? Because if you find out what he's teaching you, what the lesson is, you can rebuild and do it better the next time.
Yeah.
But most of us are so caught up in self-pity, which is still emotion, self-deprivation, self-hatred. We never get to the spiritual solution so we can fight back and gain enough courage to reestablish ourselves again. Read on.
Verse 9. Hear, Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear to understand wisdom.
He's trying to teach us how to understand wisdom.
The commandments of life.
And how to sustain your spirit. We talked about this in the beginning of class. Instead of focusing on how the wicked is going to fall and be destroyed, we need to talk about how the righteous is going to be saved. How are we going to sit back and get our people back to life? Rebuild our people's spirit. What you gonna say? I'm sorry.
I was agreeing, bro. This is the commandments of life. This is, everybody has experiences, bro. Everybody has the same experiences, but how do we react to these experiences? Because the Bible says it's common to man.
Yeah.
The separation of calibers of men is based on how men react to the same losses. How do you react to your set of circumstances?
Because most of the men who don't grow can't get past what they lost 15 years ago. 7 years ago, 13 years ago. Those are the ones who can't grow. They're stuck in this 1990s time loop. Or they're stuck in the 2000s time loop.
They're stuck in 2003 and 4 and 5.
And they can't get out of the time loop.
And that lack of adaptability, that lack of finding a solution, just leads to a circle of indulgence. Indulge, repent.
Or just stay bitter. Stay angry, stay bitter, stay emotionally fed.
Yeah.
Keep feeding negative emotions, negative narratives.
They start living good time to good time, feeling to feeling. It's like they're a grasshopper. Right? They just jump into different experiences, but they're ignoring the root of the issue.
Well, let's keep going. Verse 10, I think.
Unless you want 9 again.
No, 10's fine.
Verse 10. How happeneth it, Israel, that thou art in thine enemy's land?
Once again, when you're down, when you're broken down, this is the line of questioning you got to ask. How did I get broken down? How am I in the enemy's land? How did I hit rock bottom? How am I on the verge of losing this? Or why did I lose this? Or why did this crazy turn happen to me in my life? Can I sit back here and retrace my steps so I don't go and do this again? Why did I fall? Why did I break down? Why is there sorrow in my heart? What counsel did I not listen to? Where was at the point where I should have went right but I went left? This is the type of mindset you have to go through to continue the process of healing. And then as you're thinking about this, you got to talk to brothers to leadership about what you're saying, so that you don't create some false ass narrative in your head. Can you talk about why you went left, why you fell, why things didn't work out, and communicate it with teachers, communicate it with your elders, so they can sit back and help you pinpoint when you fell, when you went left, so that you can sit back and rebuild yourself from the point where you left moving forward. Because you really can't grow until you retrace your steps and find out where you went left at, and then continue from that point on. Because every other way that you build is going to be out of order under unstable ground. Does that make sense? Read on.
How happeneth it, Israel, that thou art in thine enemy's land, that thou art waxen old in a strange country, that thou art defiled with the dead?
How did we fall? How did you fall? Read on.
That thou art counted with them that go down into the grave.
A lot of times we don't want to go into this because we're still emotionally tied down. We don't want to go into how you fell. You don't want to sit back and deal with the real nastiness about yourself. Because when you sit back here and go into that, you're really seeing the worst of you. And you're getting a real projection of where your spirit's at. But that's the only way you're going to fix it. You got to go back down and find why you went left and work backwards. Read on. Work backwards. Go to the turning point in your spirit and start using scriptures and counsel to fix that train of thinking at the very point where you decide to go left. And that takes a lot of talking, a lot of counseling to keep going back to the points where you really started breaking down spiritually. When you stop caring, when you stop listening, when you stop finding joy in serving the Most High, when the work started becoming a burden, when being in order wasn't fun anymore. When did you veer off? Okay, read on.
Verse 12. Thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom.
Exactly. You forsake. Where did you forsake the fountain of wisdom? Where did you deviate and stop valuing the lessons that were brought to you? When did you stop having the courage to stand up for what's right? When did you let fear control your spirit and your decision making? When did quitting become an option? When did selfishness become your motivation? Continue.
Verse 13. For if thou hadst walked in the way of the Most High,
if every one of your decisions was on point, read on.
Thou shouldest have dwelled in peace forever.
Exactly. But once again, we want to get caught into the emotional sadness of loss versus dealing with wisdom and understanding to find out what did you do, what type of actions were you bringing to the table that brought forth these negative results.
What's the solution?
Which is a solution. But it takes strength, it takes humility, it takes a willingness to let brothers in to your spirit, to your psyche, to your mind, to allow other people to help you in this process.
It's doing the inner work, bro.
This is the real work it takes to rehabilitate your spirit. This is why people would rather talk about the white man. People would rather be angry or sad than really work on these issues. Read on.
Verse 14. Learn. Where is wisdom? Where is strength? Where is understanding? That thou mayest know also where is length of days.
So listen, once again, we should be focused on the how. Where is the wisdom? Where was I lacking wisdom? Where was I too much into my emotions and feelings? What was really the thing that kept me back from growth? Why was I here and I left?
Yeah.
Why didn't I take this spiritual experience serious enough when I had a chance to? You can't just forget about the past. You got to go back in the past to find out why you are the way you are now. Then you can sit back here and you can find and rediscover length of days, life, where the light of the eyes and peace is. The solutions come after you backtrack and find out where the sickness started, or where you deviated, or where you went left, or when you start telling yourself you was a victim. You were the victim and it was somebody else's fault. When did you veer astray? Okay.
Can I pull real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, real quick. Isaiah 1 verse 17 and 18.
Isaiah what?
Isaiah 1, 17, 18. I know we always harp on 16, but I want to go.
No, you can do what you gotta do. I was trying to write it on the screen.
Whenever you're ready.
Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 17. Learn to do well.
Learn to do what?
Learn to do well.
If we have to learn to do well, that means I don't know how to do well. Connecting back to the scripture that says, spare me of my ignorances.
Yes.
Ignorance means lack of understanding, lack of education, lack of knowledge. To be ignorant is not stupid. To be ignorant is to not know better. Now that I acknowledge I don't know something, because that's behalf the battle. That's what you know, what you know. That's why
versus what you think you know.
We can't get counsel because you know it. You know. You hear that? Like, I know.
So now that you're broken,
cool,
and knocked down a few pegs, stop being emotional about the fact that you've been knocked down a peg, and start trying to figure out how to do well.
Learn to do well. Do mean action. Take action. Acknowledge why I don't know, and then learn and practice and exercise myself in the right solution or action to do that which is well or correct or good. Read on.
Seek judgment.
And then, once I'm exercising myself to do the right thing, I have to do what? Seek, meaning desire, judgment. Judgment is what? The mind of the Most High. The mind, how the Most High looks at things. So I learn to do what's right, and then I learn to look at it the way the Most High sees it. This is how the Most High sees my actions. This is how the Most High sees my thoughts. This is how the Most High sees my sin. This is how the Most High sees how I react to people. This is how the Father sees it. I gotta learn how to see the Most High's lens. Let me finish this point. I got you. Read on.
Relieve the oppressed.
Then, after I take the step of learning to see the Most High's way, then I can relieve the oppressed. Because who are the oppressed? The people around me that have to suffer my negative. If I have a negative tongue, who has to suffer my negative tongue? If I'm slothful, who has to suffer from my slothfulness? The people around me. If I'm always angry, who has to suffer behind me always being angry? The people around me. So the negative I am not changing is oppressing the people around me. So as you learn to do well, and then you start to look at it through the Most High's lens, you start making that change that relieves the people around you. So you relieve the oppressed, which is the people around you, your neighbors, your brothers, your sisters, your immediate family. Read on.
Judge the fatherless.
Then, after you start relieving the people around you and you become more skillful in learning to do well, now I can judge those that don't have a guide. A father's a guide. So now I can help other people. I can become an advocate for where people are lacking. Read.
Plead for the widow.
Then I can start pleading for the widow. The men that don't have any understanding and the women that don't have any understanding. That are solitary without a guide. Read on.
Come now and let us reason together.
Come now and let us do what?
Reason together.
We have to reason together. That means I have to put everything on the table, how I feel on the table, my thought pattern on the table, my view system, my set of values and views that are my justification for why I do what I do.
Yep.
Read on.
Saith the Lord, though your sins be as scarlet, they be as white as snow.
So, and then the Most High will let those things go. Because I went through the steps. I learned to do well.
Yep.
I started seeking His judgment, His way. Then I started relieving the oppressed, because I freed people around me that had to deal with that suffer me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started helping other men, and then I helped other women. Because I chose to reason with the Most High. And be straight up about my negative.
There is a correct cycle to reestablish yourself.
Come.
And in the process of doing that, you done with that verse?
I had one more point, that was it.
I had a question.
Okay.
Was that seeking judgment also scourging?
Well, seeking judgment is seeking chastisement. We just went to the class about how we have blue wounds already. So when you're trying to change, seeking judgment, we forget judgment is a thinking pattern. This is the Most High's judgment. It's how He looks at things. When you read what's about Christ in the New Testament, He says you have judged it right. I mean, He asked him a question, and then this disciple will tell you the answer to the question and say, oh, well, you know what? He said, thou hast rightly judged. I mean, that we're supposed to be judges. We're supposed to have the law. So if you have the law, now you can weigh the decisions. What's the correct decision? So seeking judgment is seeking the right mentality to make out and put out the right decision. Mm-hmm. Yes, there's always getting chastised and getting
But the
beat
reason
down.
you've fallen in whatever arena you fell in is because you didn't seek judgment.
Come.
You didn't seek what was the absolute best way to do something.
Come.
That's really what judgment is also. Am I going to sit back in every aspect of my life and seek what's the best way, what's the most spiritually effective way to make the decisions I make in my life?
And that's counsel, right?
It's through counsel, but it's seeking the spirit of judgment. Right. Let me sit back and do the right thing by all means. Let me sit back and let me follow counsel to the T. Too many of us want good things to happen to us, but we don't follow counsel to the T. We're told to do something at a certain time, we sit back and push it back. We delay it. We make excuses why we don't do it at the time we're supposed to do it. But we think that the Most is going to honor us in being lazy and tippy-toeing away from doing things at the right time.
Being resistant.
Exactly. So seeking judgment is, let me seek doing things the right way by any means. Anyway, keep going.
I want to finish that one point, and the last point is Isaiah 41, verse 20 and 21. So the Bible gives us a prescription and a set of steps to come out of our negative. But you have to make a decision and not wallow or dwell in the negative. Now we're in Isaiah 41, verse 20 and 21.
Isaiah chapter 41 and verse 20. That they may see and know and consider and understand together.
That's important. You have to see it for yourself. It can't just be your teacher seeing it, bro.
Yeah, bro.
People be waiting for this. The people are waiting for other men to see it for them. You have to see it. You have to see what this does to you. Listen, I eat this and then I get this way. I drink this and after I'm not the same person 2 or 3 days after that. I think these thoughts and I start looking at everybody a certain way. You have to see that's your cycle. It can't just be your teacher.
Wow, that's great, Bruce.
Read.
That kind of goes with keep going. I got it. That's great.
That they may see, and then what's number 2?
And know.
Now that you can see it, you can identify the problem. Hopefully you know the problem. I have to be able to perceive it, and I have to know it.
About being convinced in your own mind.
I gotta be convinced. Read.
And consider.
And then at that point, I gotta be. Damn, I've been doing this for 5 years, bro.
Yeah.
I've been this way since I was in 3rd grade. Man, I got this from my Uncle John. Man, I remember I was on the bus back in the day. I was going crazy. I had to have my revenge. I remember that. You gotta go all the way back to those time periods to know where's the root of my name. When did it start? When did the seed get planted? This was my reaction to this set of stress. These set of stressors gave birth to this reaction. This is why I first started acting like this. You have to do the inner work. Read on.
And understand together.
And then understand together. That means with more than
right.
one person. People want to be solo, self-help, DIY, do-it-yourself, solo artist.
Yep.
If you had the skill to fix yourself, you wouldn't be the condition you're in anyway.
And even if you fix yourself, you're not fixing yourself at an optimal level.
You're at a slower rate.
It's a slower rate, and it's not as effective and as potent as it could be when you allow your counselors to assist you in the process.
We're trying to save brothers time, bro. If you want to take 20 years to solve a 3-year
I
problem,
have finally got it.
Cool, bro. Yeah, I finally realized, bro, you just wasted many years.
A dub, bro.
You wasted. That's a 3-year problem. That's a 6-month problem. That's a 5-month problem. That's a 1-year issue you're dealing with. No. It's gonna take me 5 years.
You know the problem is because every time brothers or sisters make adjustments, they make small adjustments and it's not good enough, and they still get bad results from their adjustments. They don't get the results they're looking for because it's not at the rate of change expected to get a result positive to come back to.
We're still on the clock with the Father. Read on. Read on.
It says that the hand of the Lord hath done this.
That the Most High is the one that got my life like this. We be blaming on people.
I know.
It be the Most High having us ride crazy and cops popping up on us and all kind of bill issues.
Yeah.
Read.
And the Holy One of Israel hath created it.
He had a special solution for my negative. Read.
Verse 21. Produce your cause.
Do what?
Produce your cause.
Okay, cool. What's your reason, bro? Why are you doing this? Read on.
Saith the Lord. Bring forth your strong reasons.
Bring your strong justification so the Bible can shoot holes through your thinking.
Phenomenal, bro.
You need the Bible to shoot holes through your thinking.
The Bible and falling on your face.
It's a mixture. The Babylonians, you need the Babylonians on the Bible.
I want them, bro.
Read on.
Saith the King of Jacob.
There you go. So if I can sit here, shoot up my reasons, accept the biblical understanding that I need to get my solutions, then I can learn, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow, and then I help my people. Because you're supposed to solve your battles so you can help your people who have the same battles. You're not the only person in the camp that will be in the camp with this issue. There will be 1,000 more men with your set of weaknesses, and maybe worse. Are you going to fix it so that they can get counsel from somebody that's closer to their age at? You can just wait. There's only be a couple guys that give them the answer right. It's everybody's job to scribe. It's everybody's job to be physicians. That was it.
Okay, let's go from there to 2nd Ezra chapter 10 verse 15 through 16. 2nd Ezra chapter 10 verse 15 through 16.
Second Ezra chapter 10 verse 15. Have you read?
Read it.
Second Ezra chapter 10 verse 15. It says, "Now therefore keep thy sorrow to thyself."
No, keep that sorrow and all that emotion to yourself, man. Get rid of it. Don't let that sorrow completely surpass you or overcome you. Keep that sorrow to yourself. Keep that emotion to yourself. Get rid of that weak stuff, Read on.
And bear with a good courage that which hath befallen.
Learn how to bear with your losses. You have your losses because you made bad decisions. Now let go of that damn sorrow and stop feeding off the emotion behind what you lost. And learn how to bear with good courage the fact that you lost a goddamn dime. Screwing around. Arguing, being emotional. I don't know why nobody is back up here. Nobody's in the restroom. Get up in the front. Why is everybody in the back? Let's go. Everybody who got books here, get back over here. Matter of fact, there's 2 open spaces. Everybody else get up in the front too. I'm waiting. Let's go. There's 2 spaces on top of the ones who got books. Correct. Let's go. Bye-bye. Let's go. We're waiting. Everybody who's online is waiting till brothers get up here. Okay, read that verse again from the top.
2nd Ezra chapter 10, verse 15. Now therefore, keep thy sorrow to thyself.
Keep your sorrow to yourself. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Get over it. Read on.
And bear with a good courage that which hath befallen.
Learn how to deal with your losses. Learn how to deal with the consequences of your decisions. And stop letting what you've done and your mistakes define you for the rest of your life.
That matters, right?
This is what he's saying. It takes courage to accept and man up with the fact that you made mistakes and you've lost. Can I deal with those losses and move forward? So I can continue to serve the Most High with gladness and joyfulness of heart.
And self-dignity.
And with some respect. Read on.
Verse 16. It says, For if thou shalt acknowledge the determination of the Most High to be just.
First of all, the reason that people hold on to their sadness and their sorrow is because they don't think that what the Most High did to them was just.
They're pointing the finger at the Father, right?
That's why people hold on to the sorrow in the first place. Because they don't think that the determination of the Most High was just. They think the Most High was unfair. That's why they want to hold on to the sorrow. Because Israel wants to be the victim. Israel wants to be the victim. They want to be sad. They want to be angry. They want to hold on to their sadness.
Victim kings.
Because deep down, they think the Most High was unjust with his final edict or his final determination about your condition.
The decree.
And we can't sit back and get past the fact that we lost, we took L's because of our negative. Whether it's our L's in our marriages, our issues at home, our issues with our children, our issues in our life. We're exactly where we're supposed to be because of our decisions. And if I can accept the determination of the Most High is just, I can eliminate that sorrow that's inside of me.
Wow, okay.
I can eliminate that self-condemnation or anger or resentment, depression. The Most High is fair and just, and his determination about my circumstance is fair and just. Now I can start moving on with my life.
So I'm the cause.
Yep.
And I have to accept that I'm the cause.
I'm the cause of my sorrow and have the courage to own up to that. Have the courage to own up that it's you. You did it. Your slothfulness, your selfishness, your laziness, your pride is why your children and family and brothers and sisters at home is the way it is. And on top of that, let me accept it, own up to it, and have the courage to keep fighting for the same people that I let down. Yeah. So I don't want another verse.
No, I was going to say that's what it's talking about with Baruch 4 and 28.
I don't want it right now.
I got you.
Continue. Read verse 16 again.
2nd Ezra chapter 10, verse 16. For if thou shalt acknowledge the determination of the Most High to be just, thou shalt both receive thy son in time, and shalt be commended among women.
Listen, the story is talking about something different, but I just want to pull out this point for that reason. Can I accept that the Most High, He was right? The determination of the Most High is true. And if I can accept that, the Most High will start beginning to reward me again and bless me again and take care of my situation again. That's all that's saying. And if I can accept that what the Most High has done and how what I've gone through and what I've lost is true, maybe I can start to sit back here acknowledging my sorrow, getting past my sorrow, and getting past this self-pity and this self-sadness to get to fight my battles a little better next time. For the same people that I have let down, Most High is giving us a chance to make it right with the same people that I didn't fight for in the first place. If you accept the challenge, let that verse go and go to Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha, chapter 38, verse 9 through 15. And yeah, we're going to do that, and we're going to read another verse in Ecclesiastes 38. Read Ecclesiastes chapter, we already said it. Shit. I'm just looking at a couple other things. I'm sorry, I'm kind of mind split. 38, verse 9 through 15.
Come. Ecclesiastes 38, verse 9. My son, in thy sickness be not negligent.
Don't be negligent in your sickness, in your sorrow. When you got all those strong emotions rolling on you, know that you're sick. Know that you're sick, and you can't trust what's going through your head. If I'm emotional, I'm in sorrow land, and I'm beating myself up, and I'm not good enough land, know that there's a spirit on me. And be not negligent when there's a negative spirit on you, or there's a self-destructive spirit on you, or there's a spirit on you that wants to do harm on yourself, and wants to do something extreme, wants to hurt yourself. Don't be negligent of that sickness. Read on.
But pray unto the Lord, and He will make thee whole.
Done. But no, read this next line. He says, pray unto the Most High, and He will make thee whole. It'd be nice if it would have said if, but the next verse will tell you the if. Read on.
Ecclesiastes 38, verse 10. Leave off from sin.
So He'll make you whole if you leave off of sin. If you leave off sin, He'll make you whole. The prayer is important when it's coupled with the change. You pray, you change. Well, first, before you pray and change, you acknowledge. You acknowledge your sickness, you pray, you change. It's very similar to ask, seek, and knock. It's the same concept. You gonna say something, Dawiyah?
Yeah, I was gonna say negligence means failure to take proper care in doing something.
And that's why we lose things. Because we're not taking care of the responsibilities the right way. But how do we not take care of things the right way? It's not done at the right frequency, volume, intensity level, discipline, effort level.
Yeah.
People do things, but they don't do it at the right level. People study, but they study for 15, 10, 20 minutes. You counsel, but you take only half of the counsel. You're not doing it at the right level. You listen, but you only hear a little bit of what's been said. You're in class, but you don't take notes. You see the cycle? We do things, but we do it half-assed and wonder why the Most High doesn't acknowledge it. Read on.
Leave off from sin, and order thy hands aright.
If you leave off from sin and order yourself in the right way, now you take that and you go back to the verse in Ecclesiastes talking about figuring out what you did wrong to not get blessed. When you learn how to double back from figuring out why you did what you did the wrong way, then you can sit back here and get acknowledged. Read on.
And cleanse thy heart from all weakness.
God, cleanse your heart, your mind from all wickedness. Read on.
Give a sweet savor and a memorial of fine flour, and make a fat offering as not being.
Give them this process of leaving off sin, ordering your hands aright, and cleansing your mind from all wickedness is the same thing as giving a sweet savor back in the day, and giving that unblemished animal. That's what it is. We read it. I think it's another chapter in Ecclesiastes, how the Most High talks about how that sacrifice that we give the Most High has to be unblemished. What we give the Most High, that negative has to be purged for the sacrifice to be received in the first place. So the Most High will hear your prayer if you're really serious about the change. A lot of times we still give bogus offerings because we don't give the Most High what He wants, how He wants it.
Specific.
A perfect way we know it is how men receive counsel. When men are given counsel, how many times are men doing it exactly the way they're told? Not often. You can tell by how men listen to counsel that they're really not serious about giving the offer properly for the Most High. Because the thing is this, it's not like when brothers are getting counsel, these counsels benefit the counselor. The counsel benefits the student. And it's very important that the message is done verbatim so you can get the proper result from the counsel. That's what experience and doctrine and the work is for. That's why, listen, the reason that we go through what we go through and we find success in the battles we face is so that we can provide counsel that actually works. But when men take counsel and they listen and follow to a certain degree, that's how the lessons become disjointed. So now you don't get the lesson, you don't get the understanding and the blessing from the execution because you're not doing it the way you were shown to do it.
But I tell myself I'm doing it the way I was told. That's the delusion.
God.
I never hear men say I didn't do it the right way, but
I didn't do it all the way. I did it a little way.
I hear brothers say I did it and it didn't work. But you only did. You go step by step, blow for blow, issue by issue, point for point, and it'd be 1/5 of the counsel. 20% of the counsel was applied.
And then you wonder why you don't get the results you're looking for, and you wonder why the Most High doesn't acknowledge and honor it the way He should. He's telling you He would acknowledge if you do things the right way, and if you adhere to counsel the right way, and if you give an offering of pure without blemish.
And the right way means in the correct spirit. There's a correct way to do it. There's a right mentality or mind frame to do it. There's a right mechanical action process to do it.
And then this is what verse 12 says. Read that.
God. Ecclesiastes 38, verse 12. Then give place to the physician.
But that's what, give place to the physician. The person that can actually heal you from your issue. That's like going to a physician. He tells you to take the pills. Take these pills 3 times a day. And it'll wipe out the infection. And you take it once a day. And you wonder why the infection gets worse and worse and worse. Because you don't follow instructions. How many times you go to the doctor, they give you a prescription, and you don't read the prescription? You start popping pills. Who does that? Do brothers do that? I know brothers do that. I just go to the doctor and he'll give me the medicine pieces, the medicine pills, and I just take the pills when I want to take the pills.
I forgot a couple of times.
I take the pill when I want to take the pill. The pill says eat with food, and you taking that shit on the empty hand. I took the pill. I thought they told me to take the pill. I took the pill. I don't know why my tummy hurts. My tummy hurts. Why is it hot? I took the pill. The doctor told me to take the pill. It's the facts.
That's our call, man.
I ordered back to the doctor again.
Call the doctor. The doctor's like,
I go back to the doctor's office.
Did you eat it? Did you eat it? Like
I want the money to go. It's the weekend. He's not available. I got to give us nothing fuck.
Don't take with alcohol.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, went to the club. I forgot to take my pill. And I took my pill when I got home after the club, and now I don't feel good. I don't feel so good. Israel does stupid, you know what, all the time like that. You don't follow instructions, you get sick. Now you don't know why you're sick.
It's a spirit.
The spirits are attacking me. It's all spirits.
Yeah.
Out of here, spirits. It's bad listening skills.
Bad listening.
God, there's a piece of paper that they give you.
Yeah.
You know, you get the medicine. All you do, you get the pill. They give you the pill. They give you medicine. They give you the paper like this. Get that paper. I got my medicine now. I got my medicine. It's gonna fix the issue. That's what we do. Forget reading. Forget order, discipline.
Asking questions.
Asking questions, directions. You just check out. That's Israel all the damn time. But listen, the Most High is telling you that you're supposed to listen to the physician, to all the directions of the physician, but you don't do it. You want to hear what you want to hear and apply what you want to apply. And you wonder why things backfire.
Ain't no getting around that.
Oh my goodness. But listen, read the physician verse again.
Ecclesiastes 38 and verse 12. Then give place to the physician, for the Lord hath created him.
The Most High has created the teacher to be there and has allowed that person to walk through battles that are similar to you, to help give you a template of how to overcome your issues. You just got to follow the issues and the instructions to the T. But then you sit back here, you give them the instructions, now they want to inject emotion and feelings and concern about loss.
How I disagree.
Concern about how it's all just disagreements. But your solution got you rock bottom and sorrowful in the first place. You get a solution from the physician, and you don't want to listen to that. And wonder why there's this perpetual sadness around you. It don't make sense. Read on that.
Let him not go from thee, for thou hast need of him.
He says you can't let that physician. You shouldn't let the physician go, because you have need of that physician. I need these instructions. Not only do I need the medicine, I need the instructions on how to use the medicine, when to use the medicine, what time of the day should I use the medicine. But we don't operate like that when advice is supplied right to you. So it's a combination of having a willingness to give the best of your spirit, prayer, humility, the willingness to follow to follow the law. But it's not just following the law. I gotta want to follow the law, be in order, and follow the physician's instruction verbatim. So everyone wants to say, I am a enforcer of the law, but I ain't listening to no goddamn counsel. What kind of bullshit is that? You gotta embrace the whole combination. Follow the physician on top of following the law, on top of the prayer, on top of the work ethic. That's how you get the results you're looking for. Read on.
There is a time when their hands there is a time when in their hands there is good success.
If you follow these physicians' instructions, you'll find good success. If you don't find success from the physicians, it's because you didn't listen to the physicians properly. You didn't take the medication when they instructed you to, how to use it, when to use it. You didn't follow the instructions the right way. Read on.
For they shall also pray unto the Lord, that he would prosper that which they give for ease and remedy to prolong life.
So it's a combination. I got to pray to the Most High that the physician gives me what I need to grow, but I got to follow the physician, and I got to pray, and I have to be in order, and I got to do it the way I'm told. You can't be this lone wolf individual. You have to pray to the Most High, respect him, and respect the physician, and respect the details that are given to you in the process of following the physician.
They're hearken.
You have to listen across the board while being in order, while praying, while hoping for the best. But you know what the problem is? In the process of growing and changing to try to get out of this hopeless spirit, one of these issues aren't followed the right way. Two sometimes, and you wonder why our endeavors don't work out, because we don't listen all the way. We're not experienced in following instructions. Remember we read about the experience it was in Ecclesiastes 36 and 20, where it says, but a man of experience will recompense him. We're not experienced in following orders. We're not experienced in doing things how we're told and instructed. And if you can't follow orders, if you can't follow instructions and detach emotion and anger and sadness out of the way,
then I still get a chaotic result, because when I'm being told something, there's a mental block. The mental block's there because as I'm being instructed, I tell myself how hard it is, how long it's going to take, what I don't want to do. Those are the forward thoughts we're dealing with. So you might as well record your counsels with a tape recorder. I'm saying the best answer.
Listen to him.
Is listen when somebody's counseling you and you don't want to hear it, because I know that one. Right? Get a recorder, record it, and listen to it 3 times. 3 is the number of understanding. I promise you, if you listen to it the second time, you're going to hear things you didn't hear the first time. You know why? Because you were too busy tripping on what he said 15 minutes ago. Oh, he said that, like this. Oh man, he said that shit. Hell, I know you're counseling me. You just told me I can't have no more Saturdays. Listen, bro. He's on another part of the council. You're on part. You're
still pondering on what I'm losing out the deal.
You're on phase 3 of the council.
That's true.
And you're stuck on. He said no Saturdays. Okay, bro. Council's done. It's been 2 hours.
You forgot.
Retaining information, 15 minutes. I have 2 hours, which is 120 minutes, right? 15 minutes, which is almost like under 10% of the information was retained. And Esau says when you hear things, you don't retain 10%. Esau says in his findings. When you write it down, you retain more. And when you talk it out loud, you retain even more. That's how much information you retain based off exercise. So the point is, you listen to it, tape record it.
You better get you one of them fancy recording apps out.
Yeah, get the recording app, record it, or get you a tape, whatever you gotta do. And then on your personal time, on your time, not the camp time, not working time.
Not the truck, not on the truck.
Yeah, not on the truck, you driving, I'm just doing with counsels, huh? Listen, bro, when you hear counsels, that's your personal self-time when no one's bothering you. Your 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock time, your 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock time, your bathroom time, your 5 a.m. to going to work time, your drive to work and nobody's bothering your time. In the morning when you have enough mind to listen. When you have quiet space, you listen to counsel at least 3 times. 2 times is cool. 3 is actually going to change. You're going to change it. This 3 times you're going to change for real. For real. And I promise you, you'll understand it better than the first time you received it. Or if you don't do that method, then you can wait 3 years, bro. I realize I'll take too damn long. It's taking me too damn long to fix this shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I ain't got no. My counselors are back in Texas. I'm in Georgia now. Ain't no counselors out here. Not that many. I'm not getting no counselors. But I'm just failing every day. I'm just out here failing. Fucking coming back with zeros all day. You know what the answer is? When I do get check, appreciate the check. That's how I had to learn. Once I showed me, you better appreciate the check, because you're not always gonna get. You will not listen. There's too many men here, bro. You're not gonna get no special one-on-one perfect counsel. You better take the counsels you get and master them. You should be writing your counsels down, and then checking and then you should be getting scriptures with the counsels and checking yourself.
Am I living to these counsels? Am I living up to the counsel?
You should be like, I wrote the counsel down, and on my personal time, I asked scriptures to the counsel, and I'm looking at the counsel.
I want to make sure I'm clearly expressing what you're saying.
Huh.
Now, to be honest, like, you should be sitting back here writing down and listening, recording counsels like we record class.
Exactly.
You should be writing notes to your counsels like we write notes for class. How many brothers do that? You ain't got to raise your hand. How many men do it hypothetically? How many people will write down? I said hypothetically. That means don't do it. I'm saying, how many people write? It's the sisters. Y'all write down the counsels your husband give you in the scriptures, or it's an argument. We ain't writing shit down. We arguing. There's some back and forth going on at the goddamn residence of this and this house on something Avenue. There's arguing going on. Ain't no pencils and pens and ain't no pencils nowhere. Ain't no pens. Ain't no paper. Ain't no note. Nothing books. There's arguments. Listen, all I'm gonna tell you is this: if you ain't writing down notes about counsel about yourself, how you gonna fix it?
It's not getting it.
If you ain't gonna record it, you better have a damn photographic memory, or you better write down some notes and record some counsels.
Once you get past the lie that you're gonna change just because you heard it, you felt bad when you heard it. I heard the counsel and I felt a certain way.
So now there's emotions behind
that feeling dissipates within 5 hours.
Days.
5 hours, depending on how much you distract yourself, or a couple of days, depending on how busy you are in work and life. Baby's crying, brother's tripping, driving traffic, people cutting you off. Those counsels get pushed back, and then you look up, and 6 months later, you're getting the same counsel. You know you're not listening because you're getting the same exact counsel out of it. But if you take time to really give yourself to the counsel, you get a new counsel. And that's a blessing. The blessing is that you get something new to work on yourself with. Man, you know what? That ain't the issue no more. Okay, the blessing, I got another issue to deal with. At least I know more than I did before.
Done. I got a couple more. I'm sorry.
Yeah, real short. What does recompense mean? I got an idea, but I'm
not do things sure. to make things right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pay back.
Recompense to make things right. Yeah.
Compensation.
Pay back to right. No, it's recompense is to make things right again. Okay. Make things right what was once done wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I dent your car because I backed in your vehicle, then to recompense me, I get somebody to come and fix that part that I didn't. Like it's brand new.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions so far?
I was gonna do that next one.
Okay. So what we're gonna do? Did we finish that verse? Where are we at?
We didn't go to 15.
We didn't go all the way to 15.
We ended at 14.
Let's continue to go to 15. I'm sorry.
Ecclesiastes 38 verse 15. He that sinneth before his maker, let him fall into the hand of the physician.
This the thing. Listen, if you're sinning, it's because your method is off. If you're sinning, it's because your method is off. That's what all this was talking about. This whole process we've been going through. But instead of sitting back here and wallowing in the fact that your method is off, you have to sit back and fall into the hands, meaning the ways of the physician. Who and if you're going to be honest, do you really do that? Are you really falling your hands into the hand of the physician? Are you really committing yourself to how the physician will walk you through your issue? No. And this is why our results are always half-assed. And we make very microscopic growth approaches. Because half the time, we're so ashamed of looking bad that we don't fall into the hand of the physician. Jake did it on a physical level. You should be going to the doctor. You know, everybody, when you get in your 40s, you gotta get a prostate exam, man. You know that, right?
And these days it's something new. You can go in a bag, and they'll comb it through the bag, and they'll see if you don't gotta go that level up.
Listen, but there's a reason why people don't go and get prostate exams.
You can put it back. You can put it back.
And then you sit back here and you avoid it for 10 years. You look up, and you got issues.
Yeah.
Real issues, and that's the point. It's the same thing with us on a spiritual level.
Yeah.
You should be going to that's the answer. Some pumpkin seeds, stuff like that, right?
Pine nuts, stuff like that.
Yeah. But the thing is this, we do it on the spiritual level. We don't want to go to the physician because we don't want to look bad. We don't want to look bad. We don't want to look vulnerable. So we run from the teachers. You run from the correction. You run from being walked verbatim about how to fix your situations. And you end up suffering for hiding your issues and not concealing your issues to your physicians.
That's the camp's fault.
And then when things don't work out, you're sad, you're angry, you're dejected, you feel hopeless, and you go through the cycle again. But the solution is provided right for you to take. We just choose not to do it. Yes, sir.
So what you're saying is, whether I choose to go to the physicians or not, I'm going to be uncomfortable either way.
Yep.
What you're saying is I should go to the physicians, be uncomfortable up front, and then in the end there will be a resolution, or there'll be a better result, as opposed to just not being up front, and now I have pain all the time, and there's issues and suffering all the time.
I need to be faithful, bro.
Exactly.
While I'm not around my counselors, I need to hold the mind of my counselor. We go on many classes about having the mind of the teacher.
We got to keep going. I want to get a few more verses. Jump to 17 in the same chapter. Now, we also know that from verse 16 down deals with a person dying and dealing with the loss of a person in your life. But you can still take this point, because the point is talking about the loss and the mourning of something. Whether I'm dealing with the loss of a loved one, or I'm dealing with the loss of the Most High taking something from me. If I'm focused on the loss of the Most High's reproach, you can still take this verse in proper context and get some understanding out of it. So give me verse 17 through 20.
Ecclesiastes 38 verse 17. Weep bitterly and make great moan.
Listen, we're not damn emotionless robots. If you've taken an L because of your negativity, if you've made mistakes and you've lost, and you got to sit back here and get it out, you get it out. Read on.
Come and use lamentation, as he is worthy, and that a day or two, lest thou be evil spoken of.
So the thing is, whether you're talking about the passing of a close family member or a friend, or you're dealing with the mourning of your condition. A day or two, you're down, you deal with that sadness, you deal with that mourning, and you get yourself back up off your feet. Read on.
And then comfort thyself for thy heaviness.
Mm-hmm.
For of heaviness cometh death.
Now it says, then comfort thyself for thy heaviness. I want to explain this real quick by going to Job chapter 9 and 27.
Job 9 and 27. If I say, I will forget my complaint, I will leave off my heaviness and comfort myself.
So, you comfort yourself by letting go of your heaviness and stop complaining. That's how you comfort yourself. But people, Israel, our idea of comforting ourselves is indulging in the flesh. Our idea of comforting ourselves is feeding the flesh. The way you comfort yourself is to stop complaining. It's to stop being bitter and angry. It's to stop feeding the sadness. What we like to do to comfort ourselves is to feed it on shopping sprees, food binging, sleeping for extra hours in the day, partying, feeding the flesh in whatever way is your choice. That's how we comfort ourselves. But the comforting the scripture talks about is in letting the pain go, in letting the sadness go, to let that sad train of thought go. Let that self-deprecating weakness go. Stop thinking on the sadness. Stop meditating on the sadness. That's how you comfort yourself. Go back to Ecclesiastes, the last part of verse 17.
And then comfort thyself for thy heaviness.
Comfort thyself for thy heaviness means to let go of the heaviness. If you're gonna be sad for a couple days, do it. Cry, get it out, and stop feeding it. Stop thinking about the sadness. Stop harping on what you don't have, or what you've lost, or what you could have kept but you screwed up. Read on.
For of heaviness cometh death.
Because if you feed heaviness too much, now you're dealing with suicide.
That's the fact.
Now you're dealing with the thought of not continuing on, not fighting at all. Now you're going to quit on everything. That's why you can't feed heaviness too long. You can't operate in this sad, sorry sap spirit for long periods of time, because you're going to end up hurting yourself. So comfort yourself by not feeding the weakness anymore, by not feeding the sadness anymore. Read on.
And the heaviness of the heart breaketh strength.
Mm-hmm. And when your strength is broken, now you can't muster up the strength to stay in order, to study. You ever been so sad you don't even want to read the Bible? You don't want to come to class? You don't want to try to sit back and think positive? This is why it doesn't help to keep harping on negativity, sadness, loss. Read on.
In affliction also sorrow remaineth.
Mm-hmm. In affliction also sorrow remaineth. Read on.
And the life of the poor is the curse of the heart.
The life of the poor is the curse of the heart. I mean, it's the condition I'm in. The condition I'm in is a what? Read it again.
And the life of the poor is the curse of the heart.
What that's saying is, your day-to-day living. I think they play soccer.
I don't care, bro.
Kids out.
I said you said it. Go outside real quick.
The life of the poor, meaning the experiences you go through, is a curse, meaning a bad condition of the mind. So the condition of your mind, your life is an extension of the condition of your mind. Your life is, as a man thinketh, so is he, right?
Okay.
So if you think delusional thoughts, you get a delusional reality. If you think angry thoughts, you get a angry reality. You think thoughts that are, if you don't follow complete counsels, then you have partial solutions in your life, in your reality. So the life of the poor is a curse of the heart. It's the condition based off of your thinking. So just repair your thinking. Read on.
Take no heaviness to heart. Drive it away.
Do what?
Drive it away.
Listen, man, you gotta reject sadness. How you reject sadness? By completing your focus and putting your focus on the projects that you have to take care of. It's called spiritual goals. No spiritual goals, your mind's not going off the negative. You're gonna ingratiate your mind in the weakness, or you're gonna ingratiate your mind in strength. You have to choose where you're gonna put your mind. It's a conscious decision. Read on.
And remember the last end.
And then remember that you can do it. Remember that remember that there will be a solution or an end to your suffering. There will be an end to this weak phase of your life. Remember the end. There is a benefit to committing to doing things the proper way. Read on.
Come, forget it not, for there is no turning again. Thou shalt not do him good, but hurt themselves.
I'm done with that.
Okay.
And the question is, how much further do I go in this? Because there's a lot more good here I can go into. I don't know if we should go into this class next Monday, man.
Part 3.
I'm thinking.
Part 3. Do it.
All right, listen. We'll do it. I mean, I can go hit all the hard hitters, but minds are already fried right now, man. So we'll push it back. Any questions? Online, any questions? You gotta wait.
Cool.
I don't know how long the delay is.
It's like a minute and a half to 2 minutes.
A minute and a half? I'm not waiting that damn long. Listen, y'all was moved too late. We got to get out of here. No, mess with Shalom, Israel. No, mess with
But yeah,
a minute and a half.
We dealt with the beginning of this topic about how people get here. Now we're dealing with what people should be doing.
And then at the end, we're going to be dealing with finding out how to have positive hope in the Most High in Christ.
So the positive solution to this story.
Their positive solution and to bring positive. Because listen, we read earlier in the first part of the class how there was a negative hope. And towards the end of the class, this next class is going to show about there's positive hope.
Yeah.
There's ways you can have good hope in the Most High and things work out for you. We're not just knocking hopes and dreams at all. Dreams and nightmares. We out here like Meek Mill. Dreams and nightmares, son. Everything's a loss. No, really, we're going to explain how there's a right way to do things, and when you do things the right way, the Most High will sit back here and back it. And
we got to get that part of the class, right?
Got to.
Most High backing you up.
When you have the right hope, the Most High will defend you.
Exactly.
We'll go into the details later. But listen, the water, y'all. We're gonna shut it down. We'll be having class back on Wednesday, and Friday, man's here, and we'll be going from there. And then Saturday again. We'll do it all again. Israel, for tuning in. Talk to y'all soon. Shalom.